Good evening, Dolphin fans. Welcome to the Dolphins Post Game show on the Fins Talk Network. I'm your host, Finn Stanza. With me is someone who was at the game, who comes on the network and really gives his analysis. Neil Cordero, how you doing, Neil?
I'm doing good, man. And let me say, I hadn't heard the new intro until just now, and I love
Well,
it.
wait till you see the
It
pregame round. It's a
really,
lot of fun.
I gotta hear that one. I
Yeah,
definitely
we'll do
gotta
it after
jump
the
on
show.
and get that one. Yeah, I gotta listen to that
Guys,
because
the Miami, I was very positive before the show started, before the pregame show. I guess I shot myself in the foot. Negative Nancy Finstanza, who's been off the bandwagon for about 10
Woo!
weeks. Oh boy, did I do some really bad? Maybe reverse psychology didn't work today. But guys, our Miami Dolphins did what Dolphins do. They disappointed us. They broke our hearts. They went to NRG Stadium where they haven't won since 2003, since we had Jay Fiedler and Dave Wanstead, and choked like dogs 20-12. We're going to
Yep.
get into the stats, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Put yourself in the comments. Bobby's going to join us shortly. Unfortunately, he decided to go Christmas shopping and then decided that I'm not going to make it back in time. He'll join us shortly. And then we'll probably have 45 minutes into the show. We'll drop the link because we want to hear from everybody, because we want to have a therapy session. We know that although there are 3 games left in the season, the Miami Dolphins are not going to be going anywhere, especially with the fact that they're now 2 games behind the Chargers. The Broncos won today. There's not much of a chance to do anything. So let's just have a good time and let's just talk about it. So
What it's
Neil,
about, man.
Neil, we're going to get into a lot of it, but you flew from where you live all the way to Houston today because you're a Texas boy and you brought your family. Tell us about your experience at NRG Stadium, what the experience was like, the feeling, and what you thought of the game from from the start to how it finished, and then we'll go delve into the details. So tell us about your experience.
So, I've been to NRG a few times. I was there for a preseason game once with the Dolphins, and then I went to the Tampa Bay game last year against the Texans. Um, It's a great stadium. I want to shout out Fins Nation. They did a really good job showing up. The lower level behind the Dolphins bench was predominantly Dolphins fans. It probably wasn't shown on the broadcast, but the fans did a really good job coming out and supporting the team. I mean, you could see tons of aqua and orange as we were walking into the stadium. And to be honest with you, like when I saw that, I kind of felt a little more hope, going into the game. I wasn't as excited about it just because this team is, they've melted and they've choked in big games and the most important games. But seeing the strength of the fan base today, I thought, well, maybe today it's going to be different, and it definitely was not different. It was exactly as you said. It was the same thing. It did appear that they choked like dogs. I had a good view of the field, and just so many moments, and we'll get into them, but just a lot of moments where you're just questioning the decision making, which is familiar thing for us Dolphins fans these days, is questioning the decision making of not only the play calling but also Tua today. A really bad game. There's no other way to slice that. He was really bad today. I mean, anybody, even the strongest Tua supporter, would have to admit that after watching that game. They couldn't establish the running game. Not that they tried to, but they couldn't establish it very well. Personnel is just another issue. They're not utilizing personnel, I think, correctly, and we'll probably get into that. But it just never felt like a game that we were ever going to get into. Um, when we went down 3-0, those 3 points felt like 10, and it just never felt like we were going to be able to climb out of any hole that we were put into. And I think that was solidified by the end of half sequence where we're going down the field and we're in field goal range. And then Tua throws that interception. It gets returned all the way to the 5-yard line. And instead of it being 10-9, it's 13-6. I think that's really when I knew for sure that this game was going to end with a loss. And it did. Unfortunately, that's just how it played out.
Yeah. So if we look at the high level of everything,
Hmm.
this team played stupid football. And when I mean, and I've talked about this with one of my co-hosts on Finns Talk Overtime, Greg, and we talked about the fact that the Dolphins play stupid football, and where we look at the analysis of the offense. When you're giving the ball to Achane constantly, you're going to lose. When you're not getting the ball to Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Jonnu Smith, and you're trying to figure out if you're giving the ball just to Malik Washington, you're sprinkling a little bit of Jonnu Smith. The fact that in the third quarter, Tyreek still didn't have a reception, you're not going to win football games. As good as Devon Achane is as a dual threat, he's going to get hurt, and he gets put in positions where he's going to get tackled in the sense that he can extend plays, especially with that offensive line. So the offense as a whole, we'll get into, was maligned. But if we do from the very basic stuff, let's talk about the special teams just quickly. We had two key elements that were critical. Jason Sanders is able to kick these 50-yarders now, but he's missed 2 extra points in a row. Bad snap. That's poor preparation on the snapper, on the holder, and the kicker. The shocking of shocks, and this is why Danny Crossman doesn't deserve to be special teams coordinator. We've been saying that for about 3 years now, is that fake punt. The fact that fake punt was so easily applied with no preparation and no sense that it was going to happen is lack of preparation and game planning by the Dolphins. So special teams did not show up. The defense, you can't blame the defense as a whole. Chop Robinson got a sack and a half. So did Zach Sealer. Calais Campbell was there. Jordan Brooks was there. Jordan Poyer, it's the same story with him. He continues to get chances, even though on that touchdown, he did not know what to do. He was completely lost. I'm sure you'll come back in a minute. So the Jordan Poyer is was lost. Anthony Walker couldn't make a tackle today as hard as he tried. Javon Holland looked lost. Kendall Fuller looked lost. It's the key members of the defense, and that was Campbell, Sealer, Chop Robinson. They did their jobs today, but they kept the game close. If you look at the stats of C.J. Stroud only having 131 yards passing, the fact that they had only 77 yards rushing, and that one was on one carry by Dare Agubunwale. It wasn't even Joe Mixon. The fact that there was one massive play on that end round, like the defense did their job. They gave to every opportunity to do something. So in the end, all season, as much as we have criticized the defense with the injuries that they've had, they've never complained. The Dolphins' offense is the problem from game one, from Tua being injured, from not having a backup quarterback, from not utilizing your star players, for not utilizing all of your running attack, not getting a bell cow, having the worst offensive line in football, where Liam Eichenberg better not be re-signed, where he's totally on his butt. Robert Jones I don't know how he has a job over Isaiah Wynn. Butch Berry's completely lost street cred with everybody, like he has no leg to stand on. Jackson Carman, I understand he's a third guy, was a turnstile today. Patrick Paul did everything he could. Aaron Brewer, honestly, on the offensive side of the ball, the only people who could be forgiven are Jonnu Smith, Devon Achane, Malik Washington, and Aaron Brewer. Everyone else was a disaster. On the defense, I'm not going to blame anybody, because in the end, as bad as some of those players were, they did their job. Special teams, they're always going to faux pas. So in the end, it falls on the offense. Tua had his worst game of his 5-year tenure, because this was the opportunity for him to say 15 touchdowns, 1 interception. I'm great. I'm an MVP candidate if I get my team to win. And you show up and you fumble the ball once. That was on the offensive line, but it doesn't matter. You're the quarterback. Hold on to the football. You dive and you almost get a concussion again. And you throw 3 interceptions. I don't care who's to blame for the interception. It came out of your hand. So in the end, the offensive line, the wide receivers are too small for this team. They're Oompa Loompas trying to jump fades. That doesn't work. And Tua Tagovailoa choked. She choked. It's really simple. And in the end, that all falls on Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel, the play calling again today, the time management, taking time out at stupid times, not being able to get the play call and not taking it before the 2-minute warning. It's an overall structural. Chris Greer, we know the problem. They're probably going to come back. But in the end, you can't change 53 players. But you can go get a good backup quarterback to protect Tua. You could fire the general manager, who could then decide what to do with the head coach. And then you can revamp some of the coordinators on the team. The defense is still somehow top 10 in this league. And you go from there. What are your thoughts?
No, I mean, To piggyback on, some of the points that you made, which I mean, there's nothing that you said that's wrong,
Yeah.
but to piggyback on a couple of them, you know, I agree that the defense was not the problem today, but they're still not a good defensive
No.
unit.
No.
They weren't the problem today, though. You're right that the problem is that this game needed the offense to score more than 20 points. And the fact that it couldn't is just a massive indictment on what the Dolphins' philosophy and what they've been trying to do, with these small receivers and getting out into space and throwing to spots. It's just a massive indictment on that. And it just isn't working and it's not going to work. And, you know, it is true that as fans, we're going to have to prepare for another year of this because it's unfortunately pretty unlikely given the salary structures of not only the coach but some of the players, that not only is this just not an attractive spot for a head coach or a GM, but that the owner is most likely going to give these guys another year to fix it. But even if, when and if those guys come back, it's just going to be the same thing. You know, this philosophy can't win these types of games,
No.
not with the personnel that they have. You know, you've got these Waddle just takes a routine tackle and gets hurt out for the game. And it's like it always happens with him. He's consistently getting hurt like that. And Tyreek is just getting older. When is his time gonna come? It's probably gonna be next year at some point. You know, there's no third wide receiver option, which we haven't had for 3 years. And who knows? That's probably never gonna come. And although Malik Washington looks good, he's still another one of those itty bitty wide receivers. You know what I mean?
Oompa
Like
Loompa.
Oompa Loompa. There's no guy that you can throw a jump ball to. There's no guy that you can scramble out of the pocket and throw a jump ball into the middle of the field and that he's going to be able to catch it and take contact. That guy doesn't exist. I mean, Jonnu, okay, but like, he's blocking because our offensive line is terrible. You know what I mean? Like he's out there being a decoy or he's blocking because for some reason McDaniel, you know, took 5 games for him to try to use the tight end, and then he still has reservations about it, which I don't even understand that. Um, another point that you made about the running game, it's just like you're right. Like this team can't run Achan up the A gap. They don't have the personnel for that. And every time they try to do it, they're running into a brick wall because the
Brick wall.
guy can't do it. He physically can't, and then you can't trust Mostert to do it because he'll fumble. And
And HN
why they
fumbled
don't
today.
he did. And why they don't use Jalen Wright, I mean,
Why'd you draft him?
why'd you even draft him? If I mean, he's a rookie. Like, you're supposed to use these guys. You know what I mean? Like, you could have drafted an offensive lineman in the third or fourth round. You chose to draft this guy who is probably your
And you
best
traded
all
up.
around running back. You traded up to get him,
Yeah.
and you don't even use him, I mean, and then you're right about special teams and why even bother? It's a terrible unit discussing it is just it's a terrible unit. They're always going to be bad while Danny Crossman's there, and they contributed mightily to why we lost today. I mean, I was in the stands. Steve was too. He can tell you in the chat that was demoralizing. When a fake punt. I mean, has it even happened in the league up to this point? Like,
Not really.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And like, why are they not prepared for that? How is that guy getting not? That guy got 30. Like that guy ran all the way down
All the
to the
way down.
5 yard line. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like he just picked up the first down. Like he got all the way down to the 5 yard line. Like, where is everybody? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
again, these guys can't tackle. They're out of position. It's coaching. They're not being told where to be. It's
They were
just a
too loose.
massive comedy of errors, I mean, and the main point that you made is completely accurate. This team is a direct reflection of its leadership from the owner to the GM to the head coach. They're not tough. They're not mentally tough. They can't do it. And until the culture changes around this team, here in South Florida, well, I don't live in South Florida anymore, but, us South Florida sports fans, like the Miami Heat are, they have a tough-minded organization, and you can trust that, even when they have a down year, they still compete. They can be in any game at any time, even if they're out, even if the other side has more talent than them, they're going to be in games. This team cannot function if they're not the most talented team on all sides of the ball. They can't function that way.
And they should have known better, because if they last year they actually went to bang the drum at the Florida Panthers games. And the Florida Panthers
Yeah.
games, I've been doing a show with Will Patrone on 305 Sports. I did the first show with him last week, and I'm a big hockey fan as well. The Panthers were a team that were much maligned, couldn't win anything. They changed the leadership up with Bill Zito. They brought in a hard-nosed coach in Paul Maurice. Then they traded their second best player in Jonathan Huberdeau to get physical. And they started
Yeah.
getting guys like Sam Reinhart. They went to go get Matthew Tkachuk. They went to go solidify their blue line. And guess what? They became a physical, hard-nosed team.
They're like
And
the
then-
best team in the league, dude.
And they won they went to 2 consecutive Stanley Cups and won it. Like, even if they
Yeah.
blew a 3-0 lead in that last game, they were like a brick wall. They let the Oilers come. So
But they got to the point where they could blow a 3-0 lead. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like if this Dolphins team could like go up 21-0 and then it be tied, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I'd be happy they at least got
Got
team
there.
can't do that.
No,
They can't do it.
They got the ball on the first drive and they did nothing with it. There was no sense of comfort the moment they got the ball when the game started. I go, it's the same thing.
They look shrunk. They look shrunk.
Okay, well, the moment I saw that game, guys, everyone watching, whether you're Ray, DSG, Steve Malloy, Horizon, everyone, I want you guys, Hunter, I want you guys to right now get up, hold your phones, hold your computers, and go over to your windows and see if your screens are still in between your windows outside. Because Mike McDaniel went to everyone's house and stole their screens. I have never seen in a game more screen throws in my life. The players got so bored of it, and you saw the defenders, they knew what was coming before it came. And in the fourth quarter, Tua was so desperate that he threw a screen to Jonnu Smith, and Jonnu Smith said, I don't want the football. He knocked it down. He goes, I don't want this again. I don't want to get tackled and lost for
you
yards.
saw when he overthrew Waddle on that crosser, right?
Oh my
You
God.
know, like I think it was like the second drive or the third drive where Waddle, if he throws a better ball there, Waddle's gone. I mean, he's gone. Like there's nobody there.
And you know what the crazy part was? If there wasn't wind today, he was in a closed door stadium. There were no elements to speak of, and he was underthrowing. Did you happen to know? I've now come to the conclusion, inside the numbers, he's a good quarterback. Outside the numbers, he has a weak noodle arm. He can't get it there. He's getting it in the feet. He's trying to throw it up. And when he tries to throw the ball and he's off balance, he tries you're worried he's about to intercept it, like the Buffalo game. He throws it with such might, and it only just gets out of the sidelines.
I just don't think he has the base anymore after that injury.
Let's
I just
look
don't
at his
think he has
stats
the
today.
base.
He was 29 for 40, 196, 4.9 yards. That is insane. You're throwing 4.9 yards. CJ Stroud was not much better at 5 because he didn't have a great game either. But to throw 196 yards on 40 attempts, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, sacked 23 times with a QBR of 45.8 and a passer rating of 60. Stroud was not much better. He was 18-26 for 131, but he threw 2 touchdowns that mattered, and he had a rating of 106.4. He did his job.
He was clutching the red zone.
That was it. Achan, 12 for 41. Remove Oster, 6 for 8. Jalen White, 1 for 3. Nothing much. When you're leading receivers, Malik Washington, 5 for 52, you're going to lose a football game.
You're going to lose
your
the game.
6th round receiver is your best receiver. You're going to lose football games. Okay?
I mean, I just, it's almost just like, how this team is so reliant on Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and then when one of them is gone, you're just like, oh, it's done, right? Like
they don't even use him.
And the fact that we are talking about an offensive line that has Robert Jones and Liam Eichenberg as your best option to guard. I mean,
Win is better, and they just
and that's the thing, and he needs to answer for that at some point. These beat writers have to get on him about what is going on with Isaiah Wynn. Either the guy should not have been taken off of IR, or McDaniel, or what is the excuse?
Yeah.
Like why is Isaiah Wynn not there? Because looking at Liam Eichenberg, I mean, he was getting bullied too. And then he gets that full star on the last drive, which it was already over. It doesn't matter, but still, like, it's just a microcosm of like everything that goes on here. I mean,
The,
they're
yeah. The microcosm, you were there. That last drive, the second to last drive, when they got 3 consecutive offensive line penalties, one after another after another. It was 3rd and 25. I go to myself, 3rd
third
and
and
25.
25.
I go, are you kidding me? You need to go win the football game, and the offensive line completely collapsed. But in the end, I don't blame the players. The players are depth players. You had
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's not their fault.
Except for
Yeah.
Aaron Brewer, every
Yeah.
single one of them should not be
Yeah.
starting football games. But
You're
this
right.
is
I
a
mean,
story.
it's like when you put your worst guy in a situation where if he doesn't have it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't blame that guy. He shouldn't be there. You know what I mean?
Julian Hill should not be on the field.
No, he
Josh
shouldn't
Boyer
be.
should not be putting. I'll give you the best. They cut Marcus May. Then the time he gets traded, the next game he plays, get a critical interception for the team that he's playing for, the Chargers. Why
Yeah.
is it that all of a sudden he's a star there? Why? Like, I don't understand. Players go elsewhere, they succeed. They come here and they and,
What's
and they
about to happen to Javon Holland, dude? His ass is going to be gone, and then he's
well,
going to be
he's no,
great
but we
somewhere
can't
else,
sign
dude.
him. Yeah, but we can't sign him for the money.
I know, no, we can't, but I'm just saying that like he's going to leave our team, and he's going to be like dominant probably
Yeah,
somewhere else.
and
Like
you
it's
would
going
have
to be like
thought.
Minka Fitzpatrick.
Let's talk about this quickly because he mentioned injuries. I want prayers up for Grant Dubose. I hope he's okay.
Yeah.
The poor guy comes back from IR, and this is what he has to suffer through.
I know. I thought about that.
There's no blame because it's a football play, the head-to-head. But I'm sorry, Tua Tagovailoa throws hospital balls. He does it to
Yeah.
Achane. He does it to Smith. He does it to every single guy. It's like in hockey where you pass the puck to an open guy, but you see the defenseman coming on the railroad tracks. Tua put her in a position, and also Tua, you know what he did today? He put the ball where he thought the player was going to be way too many times instead of using his intelligence. And in the end, he looked. And by the way, I don't know if you happened to notice the thing that really got me with Tua today, and I'm a Tua supporter, is when the pick six happened and they went back down and they scored and the 4-yard touchdown. He smiled. Go back. You weren't there to see it. Go watch again if you go watch the whole game.
Yeah, I didn't see the highlights. But I'll have to go look
grinned.
at that. Yeah,
he grinned when it happened. He grinned.
You're talking about the end of the half pick or the
the end of the the one where they went down the field.
To the 5 where Achane pushed him out of bounds.
Achane pushed him out of town. Then Nico Collins got the touchdown. He smiled.
Yeah. You smiling there?
He smiled.
Yeah, okay. I mean that's really bad because I mean looking at that play, what I thought happened there was that the Texans were showing, and I'm not a big X's and O's guys, but just from my limited knowledge of coverages, it looked like the Texans were showing cover one. So I think Tua thought that he was going to have something down the middle because he felt like maybe the safety was going to back up. But it looks like they switched out of it at the last minute, and he just didn't read it correctly. And the guy
didn't read anything today. He could not read anything today.
That's what it looked like. And I just and honestly, that's probably a McDaniel thing too. I mean, I'm not going to take the blame off of Tua. That was a bad throw for sure.
They're together.
But what are you doing there? Like, just get the field goal, dude. You're in field goal range. It's the end of the half. Just run the ball. And then get the field goal, and then let the defense close it out of the half. It's 10-9, and then stop them again. Instead, it becomes 13-6.
Yeah,
it's a 6-point swing, and then if you think about those 3 points and you project it forward, it should have been 17-15. In the third quarter, even into the fourth quarter, 17-15, and then all we're doing is trying to get a field goal to win the game. You know what I mean? But like it's people. Well, I think our fan base is starting to turn on to this, but I think to the casual fan generally, they don't understand how those decisions, losing points like that in situational football, can have a massive impact on game flow later on.
Well, they're so bad in the first half. They're so poor.
They're so poor. And that's exactly
in the first half.
Yeah.
They're always playing catch up. DSG asked you this question. he's asking you seriously. When you were watching, did you see Hill open, or was he being tightly covered
So
today? Because he never
so
went to him
I
in the first
felt like
quarter.
they did everything they could to keep Tyreek Hill from getting behind them. So in order to get Hill the ball, Tua was going to have to thread the needle a little bit more, but he didn't have the time to let Tyreek's routes develop. And then when he tried to throw Tyreek those routes, Tyreek wasn't in a good position, as you can see from that throw where Tua tried to throw it to Tyreek for the first down, but Stingley picked him off. I think he was counting on Tyreek being in front of the DB,
Yes.
and Tyreek instead went behind the DB. But see, this throwing to the spot stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I'm tired of that. Like,
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
not a fan of that kind of game anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
They're reading it.
there's,
That's the thing is that
yeah.
by the way, Mike McDaniel threw Tyreek under the bus at the half with his con that players need to be where they need to be. Like obviously
But
they're getting
yeah,
like I saw the look on his face, the look on what's his name's face, McDaniel's face after each interception, like he was gassed. Like what did he expect? He did not put together. Like I went the last time they took a deep shot where Hill had space, and I don't care. Every team plays cover two or cover
yeah.
one, two deep safeties. Find a way to make it happen. Use John Smith a little bit more. Use something, but they didn't construct the team properly. That goes
No,
to Chris
no, they
Greer,
didn't.
and it is what it is. So
But I also think though that when Waddle went out, it was going to be a lot harder to get those deep shots just because now you've got no decoy there to
yeah,
be able to force the safety to have to respect anything. You know what I mean? Like it,
yeah,
but you're right, man. I mean, it's not an excuse. You know what I mean? Like, how is Tyreek, who's our best player,
never
not
open.
getting the ball?
No,
You know what I mean? Like that guy needs like 12 targets a game. And it doesn't matter if on the drive it doesn't, equate to us getting a touchdown. You gotta feed him the ball.
yeah,
You need the team to think that he's going to be involved so that you can, other players can be open, at the same time. It just, I don't know. It
yeah.
is, it
Um,
is, it's shocking.
Yeah, Duke. Everyone's been saying he should not be the play caller. He's a head coach who has too much. He's a motivational guy. He's a nice guy, but unfortunately, he needs to decide what type of coach he's going to be. If he wants the play call sheet, go be an offensive
Yeah.
coordinator. Until you prove that you could be a competent play caller while winning football games, you're not capable of doing the job. He's completely outclassed, and every time he faces Matt LaFleur, he got honestly like even if you look back at the Rams game, the defense won them that football game. Tua had like 200 yards. They had like 230 yards of offense that night. It was the defense that won them that football game. When he goes against McVay, Shanahan, LaFleur, D'Amico, he struggles. He
Anybody
struggles.
good. Like
Anybody good.
any good coach. It's
Oh,
not just those guys.
to
It's
give
like any
perspective,
good coach.
yeah, but it give perspective on Mike McDaniel. As much as people say, well, he's going to be back, which he will probably be, it doesn't matter who your team is. On paper, many teams would pray and hope to have a Jonnu Smith, a Devon Achane, a Jalen Waddle, a Tyreek Hill, a Jonnu Smith. They would want those type of players on the field. You are now 3-17 against playoff teams. 3 and
Unbelievable.
17.
It's
That is
unbelievable.
not even fun, and it could be worse. And that unbelievable. And this year, if the Rams don't make the playoffs, the Rams make the playoff, don't make the playoffs, you will not have beaten a playoff team again this year. Like, what is up with this? And
I
at
mean,
what
think
point?
about that.
Yeah,
Think
and
about 3 and
and
17,
you
dude.
put up 28 points against teams that are not very good, and then you get beaten up by the Green Bay Packers and the Houston Texans. Like that is not just on your quarterback. That is a foundational point piece. And I've been hard on Mike McDaniel. I have yet to insult him by name today, but it's just the reality of it. It's just when you look at this team, you allow the special teams to be where they are. You allow the defense to have these veterans on this team without going to drop. And how much money has this team spent on the secondary? And they continue to falter when it matters. But you honestly, like, it took you till week 15 to cut Skylar Thompson. You bring
God.
in, and then you do it to get to bring in Grant Dubose, who's not, it's not going to make that big of a difference. Like I thought maybe they needed Bradley Chubb for a kick, but also all the beat writers, Neil, this week were saying The Dolphins are so loose. They're giving away, like everyone found it was so cool. I don't know if you noticed if you were there early enough, but Anthony Walker gave every single player on the
I saw
team their
that. I
high
saw
school
that.
jersey.
I
Like they
saw
were
that.
loose and they were chill. I go, this is your biggest game of the year against your toughest opponent, and you put up 12.
12.
12. 12.
12.
That's your average. Like that is not acceptable
It's
from any
wild because
on these
when we
teams.
play good teams, this offense, usually both sides of the football tend to fall apart, but like today, it's always definitely the offense falls apart when we play good teams because they just other teams know what we're gonna do. You know what I mean? Like we're so predictable. Like it's like these guys can't run up the middle. So they're gonna try to do everything on the outside, and their
What we did.
quarterback can't throw outside the numbers. And so let's just shut everything down in the middle and shut everything deep and force them to just do the shit they don't want to do. And like, hello, we scored like 10 points when that happens. Like it's crazy, and it's not like Houston was out. They
They
were
were
missing
awful
their
today.
starting safety. They were
Petrie was
missing
up.
their starting safety. They were missing one of their better pass rushers in Aziz
Starting center.
Al-Shahir. They were missing the interior of their offensive line. Houston couldn't do anything. The only reason Houston scored touchdowns was because of a stupid pick return all the way to the 5-yard line, which most teams in the NFL are going to convert that. Okay. And then they had the fake punt that got them all the way down there again. Okay. And they generated points off blown coverage, bad turnover plays. I mean, like if we had not turned the ball over and we had not given up that stupid fake punt, like this game, they probably still would have won, but it would have been like 12-15, 15-12 or something. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this Houston team is a bad football team. They really
We're
are.
in a
And
weak division.
in a very weak division, they're a bad team and they made us look inept. Like that's the shocking thing.
No
Like
game day prep.
they looked so much better than us, like, and they're so bad. And you just think to yourself as a Dolphins fan, like, where where does the team go from here? Like, if they're gonna keep McDaniel and Greer, which sadly is going to happen, as a Dolphins fan, you can't have any faith about next season because like you can't fix these issues in one draft. You know what I mean? And what's going to happen is they're probably going to draft a DB or something. Like they're not going to address the offensive line. It's going to be
They're going to be
some
cap hell in
DB.
2 years.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's going to
Let's
be
just
really
go
bad.
over this. Let's go over this quickly because you've never
Yeah,
talked
dude,
about this.
I think it's a good idea. Let's
They're
go
going to
over
need
it.
another starting corner because Fuller's
Yeah.
not the answer there. Like they're
No,
going to have to
he's
figure something out there.
done.
They're going to need at least 3 safety. McMorris is there, so they're going to need 2 starting safeties.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to need another linebacker or 2 because Walker's there, but I don't know how long his contract is, and Jordan Brooks is there for 3 years, but they need another outside linebacker.
Yeah.
Duke Riley's not the answer. They're going to probably need another edge rusher because they may not keep Chubb, and who knows if even Jalen Phillips
Chubb's
will be
gone.
ready.
Chubb's gone. He's
Jalen
gone.
Phillips may not even be ready. So maybe you'll bring
Dude,
back
I don't
Ogba.
even think I think they need to move on from him too, man. I
Yeah.
don't know how I don't know. You can't pay him.
He has
How do you pay
he's
him?
guaranteed his 5th-year option this next
Yeah,
year.
he's got the 50 option, but after that, like,
Fire
how
nerd,
can you extend him?
Yeah. Then you guaranteed money to Jalen Waddle. Jalen Ramsey's not going anywhere. You're going to have to replace Calais Campbell. You're going to
They're
have to
cutting
get
him. They're going to cut him on Monday.
Yeah,
or
they're going to have to.
Tuesday.
They're going to cut him. They're going to have to get a new nose tackle.
Yeah.
They need
Yeah.
2 guards, a backup swing tackle, more backup guards because Jones and Leichenberg are gone. You're going to need a 3rd wide receiver, another tight end, a backup quarterback, the highest backup quarterback in the league. They have to basically, with cap hell, they're going to have to flip their entire team, and you're going to allow the guy who has been in this team he's been with this team since the last time they won a playoff game. Think about this. The guy's been part of the front office, not the GM, the front office since we started our true mediocrity.
Yeah.
It is absolutely insane. I was 21 years old the last time they won in Houston. I'm 42 now. Half my life is past.
Was that the Lamar Miller game?
Maybe, I think so. Yeah, it was Lamar Miller was later. This is the Ricky Williams, I'll have to
Okay,
look back and
okay,
score.
okay.
Jay Fiedler, Dave Wanstead's last year.
Oh my God.
No,
So
that's how
even that
no,
Lamar
that's
Miller,
how
we
it
couldn't
goes
even
back.
get
Like
again.
honestly, like the team has to flip. And
It's
yeah,
bad, dude. I mean, it's really bad.
and the Bills were supposed to rebuild this year. They just put up 48 against the Lions and beat the
Dude, that's
Lions
the
in at
scary
home.
thing about Buffalo is that, like, and the
They're not.
Patriots are on the come up too, man.
The
That team,
Patriots are on the
once
come
they
up.
get rid of Gerard Mayo, that team is going to be badass. Like, Gerard
And,
Mayo is going to go the Flores route.
and I said to this to Bobby last week. I'm jealous of the Jets. I'm jealous of the Jets. The Jets
Well,
get
I would be too. Yeah, you're right.
new
You're right.
quarterback, new head coach, new GM. I'm jealous, and they're gonna have a worse record than us, and they're gonna get a better draft pick than us.
Yeah, exactly. Right now, we're sitting at number 11.
Let's
But they're gonna Calais is gonna get cut tomorrow or Tuesday. They're gonna let him go to a contender. Tyreek is gonna get surgery. Waddle, I don't think we see Waddle back. I mean, you're gonna see a lot of players just phone it. They're gonna mail it in now, and
if
so
you were them, would you start sitting people with sitting players?
well, I don't think they're gonna have to. I think the players themselves, like
What about
Tyreek's
Tua?
gonna get that
Tua?
surgery.
Like if I'm them,
Okay, if I'm them, I
I'd
sit
redshirt
Tua.
Tua. I'd redshirt
I
him.
do too because he can't get hurt. If Tua were to get some concussion in these meaningless
These
games,
stupid games.
like, dude, they
You know what they're gonna say? You know what they're gonna say tomorrow? They're gonna say that the Colts are 6-8, the Bengals are 6-8, the Dolphins are 6-8, and the Chargers might lose out. So whoever gets to 9 first, they may not win one more game. If the Chargers win one more game, we'll see. But if the Chargers don't win one more game and we win 3 in a row, we might sneak in. That's going to be their mindset. They might
yeah,
still
but
think they
man,
have a
once we cut
chance.
Calais, because they're gonna cut Calais. I mean, they're going to
No,
like
they may not. They might have this concept that 9 wins get you in, and if they actually truly believe that, they
delusional. They are
yeah,
delusional.
but they are
It's
delusional.
almost they are. And you know what it is? It's that, like, the first rule of holes is to stop digging. But some people don't understand that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, some people feel like, no, like I
no,
gotta dig my way out of this. And it's like, no, no, no. First rule of holes, stop digging. They can't abide by the first rule.
yeah,
I mean, dude, everything that you just said about what this team's outlook is completely accurate. And I think fans really need to settle in on that. Like it's gonna get really bad. Like, we're not the Bills. You know what I mean? Like, we're not gonna do well because we don't have the culture to do well without those kinds of players. I mean, you're right. We're going to miss two starting safeties. We're going to have to release Kendall Fuller. We're going to have to turn over half of our defense somehow. And you can't do that in one draft, especially since you have to turn over half of your offensive line. Like, you two guards, Tehran's gone, so you're going to be relying on Patrick Paul, who may be a bit promising. I mean, I'm not going to say that he's the next Tehran or top tackle, but like, he has some promise. But Austin Jackson is your right tackle, and look where Austin Jackson is right now,
Dawson
hurt out for
Jackson.
the year.
He was your reason why your outside zone was sort of working.
Yeah,
But it took him how long to get developed? So
to
even
develop
Patrick Paul,
exactly.
Patrick Paul, it's going to take him another 2-3 years. It's not going to be that easy
Exactly.
for him next year.
So if you want to strengthen the interior and of the offensive line, and if you want to strengthen the defensive line, you want to build up trench play, you're going to be ignoring your secondary. So you're going to be hoping that your team offensively can do what the Chiefs did when they had a subpar defense, and that's not this offense. That is
No.
not this offense. The only thing comparable to this offense and in that one is that they both had Tyreek Hill, but like everything else is completely different, because you don't have
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes, you don't have an amazing tight end. I mean, there's just
Yeah.
it could get a lot darker before it,
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So
I mean,
let me ask you. Let's talk about Tua for a second.
yeah.
You
Let's
were
talk about
there.
him.
You were at the game. What was his? Could you tell from where you were sitting what his demeanor was on the sideline? Like, what was the premise? Did he seem loose? Did he seem because on TV every time they showed him, he seemed like very laid back, not concerned. We'll get them next time. He didn't really look like he had the eye of the tiger and someone who's a samurai, Samoan warrior to go out there and basically stomp on the Texans. Like he looked like he didn't look. He looked completely dumb, lost. He looked literally unprepared. How did it look to you there?
I didn't. The one thing that I'll say about Tua is that I really didn't love the body language from him after the negative plays and when things weren't working. And I get the sense from him that he is incredibly frustrated with with how things are unfolding in front of him. You know what I mean? Like I think he I think he is probably frustrated with the personnel, and I think he's probably frustrated with people not being in the right spots and things like that. And he maybe is frustrated about the play calling too, although McDaniel's his buddy, so he's not going to come out and say it. But like, I think for me, I've come to the realization, and as I mean, I have signed to a jersey, top 5 pick. I got his, framed it. I first ticket to his first game and a rookie card, that I spent way too much money on. And so I'm a big Tua fan, but what I'm starting to realize is that he is not a quarterback that is good enough to overcome things that are not perfect. He just isn't. Like he is not the guy that you want when you're down in the fourth quarter with 3 minutes left. He's not the guy that I want behind center. He's the guy that I want there when I'm up 10, you know what I mean? Or I'm up 7 and like I need to get a field goal and there's not a lot of pressure because the defense can maybe get a stop and like or maybe he can get a field goal so I'm fine with him in that situation, but he's not the guy that I want leading an imperfect team down the field when you got to have it because he can't throw to guys unless he's anticipating them being open. And I guess what I mean by that is like you look at Josh Allen, for instance. You know what I mean? Dude, offensive line fails him, right? On any given play, right? Whatever. He scrambles out, okay? Like in today is a perfect example of that. He had a play where he scrambled out, okay? And he's just and guys are still chasing after him. He stops and he throws a bomb to a guy who has a little bit of separation on the DB, but it's not much. But because he's got a cannon, he can throw to guys who are, open and the DB is chasing them. He can hit that, but Tua doesn't have the arm strength for that throw. And I think you need that arm strength to win games when you're down in the fourth quarter and you got to have it. You have to be able to, guy already made his cut and the DB is right on his ass. You've got to be able to throw the ball with enough pace to where it's going to still hit the guy in stride. And the DB isn't going to be able to catch up to that ball.
Yep.
And Tua can't do that.
Yeah.
He just can't.
This is my oldest friend. He's a big Bucks fan. I gave him credit today. Baker Mayfield loves Chris Godwin. Just Mike Evans, Bucky Irving, and Rashard White. They went into SoFi Stadium and he put up 4 TDs, and they beat the Chargers, who needed a victory, but the Bucks needed a victory just as much as they did to extend their lead in the division, 40-17, and Baker Mayfield threw 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. What exactly are we doing here? Tua Tagovailoa had the same options facing a mediocre team compared to the Chargers, and he went in with more talent on his back and an offensive head coach, not a defensive head coach. Baker Mayfield's coordinator is a rookie offensive coordinator, and he put up 40. The Miami Dolphins put up 12. So the whole
12.
28 points, I always said was an aberration because the 28 points was not an easy 28 points. It was to come back in games. It was to extend leads in the fourth quarter. This team, when's the last time we saw this team with double-digit points after the first quarter?
Remember.
The first quarter. The first half.
Can't remember.
The first half.
Can't remember. You're right. This team is not dominant. Like this team can't step on other teams' throats, even the bad ones.
Pedal.
Like this team has to. Like the Jets, dude. We had to go to overtime at home against the Jets, dude.
Jets.
A team that didn't want to win, dude.
We were up.
They don't want to win.
We were up by 5 points in the fourth quarter against the Raiders.
The Raiders, dude. The Raiders.
The
They're
Raiders.
trying to lose games, dude. They don't want to win.
Lakers,
They
David,
don't
we're going to
wanna
join you in a
win.
few minutes. We're going to give another 15 minutes before because I want Bobby to hopefully be able to join the show and give his take. And then
It's
we're gonna
just,
drop
and
the
when
line.
Bobby gets here, I'll probably have to go. But like, we're in for a really rough offseason because it's not gonna get fixed this offseason. It's not. It can't. It's not that they can't. Even if they tried to, even if they had the most capable front office in the entire league, you know what I mean? They couldn't fix this in one offseason.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think Tyreek, Evan, I don't know how you feel, but you got to try to get rid of Tyreek somehow. Like, you don't need both of those guys. This team can't function like this. You got to get rid of one of those guys so you can have some cap space to fix some other holes here.
Two Oompa Loompas. Like, how small do you? But we already drafted Malik
like
Washington.
if Tyreek wasn't as old,
H-Chad, how small do they want to be? It's like I said to somebody, we're talking basketball.
yeah.
There's talk about maybe trading Jimmy Butler. Do you know how many small forwards they have on the league Heat after they get rid of Jimmy Butler? You know how many?
Yeah, not many. Zero.
Yeah. So you want to get rid of your only small forward? Yeah. What? It doesn't work. Like, honestly, the Miami Dolphins, and by the way, I'm the biggest, look at the tape about the first interception, if that's what they want to take. The last two are on Hill.
They're on Tua for sure. The last two are totally.
You do not throw a deep fade to Tua in coverage to Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I mean,
Hill got to the ball.
Too late. At that point, it's too late. Yeah, at that point, it's too late.
Tyreek Hill, go watch it. Tyreek Hill had to come back for the ball.
Yeah.
He had to come back for the ball. He was never in stride. Outside the numbers. Tua, every time he got outside the pocket, had no arm strength. And I love Tua. He was not.
He doesn't have the base for it. He doesn't have the base for it anymore.
This is exactly why. I don't know if you had the chance. I pounded the table for a bell cow running back. Look, it doesn't matter how bad Jalen Hurts is. It doesn't matter if Lamar Jackson has an off game. There's a reason why Brandon Tannehill was successful for years. When you have a Saquon Barkley and you have a Derrick Henry type as a running back, you have a chance to win every single football game.
Because you can run up the A-gap, bro. Like, this team, although I think Jalen Wright can run up the A-gap better, and I don't know what they're doing. But you're right, man. When you have a running back that can run up the A-gaps, like, I mean, maybe we don't – I don't know. I'm not even going to say because, like, they'd be giving an excuse. You're right. We should have had a bell cow back just to see what would happen because it ain't working now. I mean, it ain't working now.
Yeah. Now we talked about Tua. Let's talk about McDaniel for you.
Yeah.
I think if I remember correctly, you were okay with the McDaniel hire, right?
I was sadly.
I was the hard-nosed guy going crazy after the Chargers game that he couldn't. Brandon Staley figured him out, and I've been hard on him for 2 years.
You have actually. You saw it way earlier than a lot of people. I give you credit for that.
Yeah, rookie head coach, so I gave him another chance. Then last year after the Titans game, fell apart. Then they blew it. You were at that game in Kansas City where you froze your butt off. Hope you're still healthy. Yep. Have you warmed up from that game?
Just barely, dude. Just barely.
What is your level of patience now with Mike McDaniel?
It's over. I don't have any patience for him anymore. I mean, honestly, like a small part of me wants to hope that next year he will have seen the error in his ways and he will have learned enough from his failures to develop a good game flow mindset and will give up the play calling, to somebody who, understands NFL situational football, or maybe he himself will just be bestowed with that knowledge and grow. But I don't have any of that faith. You know what I mean? And how could I? How could anyone? Like, I feel like at this point, if I were to tell people that are watching this that they should have faith, I feel like I would be lying to them. I feel like I would be telling them something that was not true. And I can't do that. McDaniel, unfortunately, is not a head coach in this league.
Yet. I don't think he's a head coach yet.
Well. I guess. Could he go to another team eventually and be a head coach for them? Maybe, but it won't be for this team. He will not fix
Yeah.
his ways for this team.
He's yet to prove Flores was right. Yeah. Because I asked Bobby this question earlier today. Is it likely that Brian Flores, after learning the error of his ways and adjusting and seeing what he's done in Minnesota, going to get a head coaching job next season? And I'm
I think
saying
so.
yes.
I think
Because
so.
it'll cure the lawsuit. Things will get settled.
Yeah.
He'll get a job. That team will look good. Yada. But Mike McDaniel has never really been an offensive coordinator anywhere. He's always been a lower level coach. And even when he was in, he may have been the run game coordinator. He was not the play caller in San Francisco. And you expected him. He did not get interviews by anybody except the Dolphins. And he's too close with Tua. He's too defensive of Tua. He'll never insult Tua. He'll never go after Tua.
No, he won't.
It's not a safe relationship. And I always said that Greer, McDaniel, and Tua are tied at the hip to each other. But for me right now, and tell me if you disagree, it has to start with Greer. Then Greer has to decide what he wants to do with McDaniel. And then that coach has to decide what they want to do with Tua. That's it. You have to do it from the top, but there's no more half measures. We'd all agree because in the end, you can't disappear from Tua for at least another year. But
yeah, you need one more year.
But you can fire a head coach. There's no cap.
Yeah, you can fire him.
Fire your head coach. Yeah. There's no cap hell if you fire your general manager. There's nothing. Yeah. And if, like someone made in the comments before, if the Jets go get Louis Riddick or a strong guy like that to talent evaluate, and we stay with status quo, we're going to be bottom feeders in a year or two. We're going to do the Dolphins want to have a chance to utilize this window of talent there? Because in the end, I listened to Barry Jackson, I listened to Omar, I listened to Alan Cooper, everybody. What everybody says is there are key elements of this team that people on other franchises would love to have, but they're not utilized properly. Because until you have proper trench play, you can never establish the running game to use the play action and use the end runs. You cannot do those things. You can't use the jet sweeps because you don't have the blocking to be able to do it. Alec Ingold is suffering from something because he's regressed. They don't have really a blocking tight end. Their best blocking tight end takes too many penalties, and there's an undrafted guy in Julian Hill. So in the end, we all know what needs to happen. It probably won't. So if you're going to tell me, let me ask you, so if the coach is still there, the GM is still there, the quarterback is still there, you said no Waddle, or you said no Hill. If I'm them, I go sign the highest paid backup quarterback you can find that's capable, who's won football games in the NFL. Because look, Kansas City today, they have a cushion. They're 13-1.
Yeah.
Yes, they want to win the division, but they want a healthy Patrick Mahomes. I will make you a bet. Let's look at the Kansas City schedule for the rest of the season. If I'm them, they won today. They beat the Browns. Let me just go look up their game. Where are they? The Chiefs. They're 13-1, right? They now have to go face the Texans next week. They have the Texans next week, and then they have the Steelers and the Broncos. Carson Wentz has started in this league. If they need him for the last game of the year to try to solidify number one, I'd sit him and let Carson Wentz play. And I bet you they win next week against the Texans.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
With Carson Wentz.
Yeah. He's a capable backup.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, to answer your question, I mean, the only person, and I don't think this is going to happen. I don't want people to get it twisted. I don't think anybody's getting fired. But if Ross, well, not only that, but, I think this is a larger perspective on Ross that I was thinking about today. But, I'm wondering if Ross is fatigued with this. I'm wondering if he is sitting there and looking at this team and being like, how many people have fired? Because he sucks at it, you know what I mean? All the half measures and stuff. But he doesn't think he sucks at it, right? So I wonder if he's sitting there and he's like, every time I fired somebody, it's never done anything.
Then hire someone to do it.
I know. I know.
Where do you live? Where do you live? Where do you
I
live?
live in San Antonio, Texas.
How far are you closer to Dallas or closer to Houston?
Close to Houston.
Okay, but you live in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
Do you want to know why the Cowboys haven't won since the mid '90s? Is because Jerry Jones has been senile since
Oh yeah,
1995.
exactly. Yeah, it's
They
Jerry.
have not.
Yeah,
It's
it's
long,
Jerry.
it's long. That's why that when you don't have a foundation and you let the owner meddle, you're not going to win. You never hear the Kansas City Chief Clark Hunt ever involved.
No,
You don't hear
nothing.
Brett Laurie involved. They have Howie
Nothing.
Roseman there. They have a. You don't hear Pittsburgh. You never
Yeah.
hear about the Pittsburgh owners.
Even the
family.
Fords with the Lions, you don't hear
Well,
them
you
at
don't hear
all.
them.
And they're the
You don't hear them.
Fords, bro. Come on.
By the way, if he's a true businessman, backup binge, he doesn't care because when he joined, if you
Exactly,
look
he
at
doesn't
his
care.
net worth since he bought the team is double. He has
Doubled.
F1. He has the Miami Open. He doesn't. He
Yeah,
honestly,
dude. The
I thought,
other things of the Dolphins make way more money than the Dolphins themselves.
yeah, everything
Yeah.
around it. So,
But what I'll say is I want to say this. You know, if someone's gonna get fired, it's probably Chris Greer just because of the mounting media pressure on him. I don't think it's gonna happen. But if someone was gonna get fired, it would be him.
let me ask you a legal
But
question.
but then if you bring in another GM, are you really gonna stick them with McDaniel? You know what I mean?
You want to
Tua?
give the GM the opportunity to fire McDaniel.
You'd have, I mean, in order for this to be an attractive job, I think you have to give a new GM the option to fire McDaniel and move on from Tua. I mean, you have to be able to tell the guy, look, you do what you want. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, no one's gonna want this job. You know what I mean? Like I
Unattractive.
wouldn't. You
Like,
know?
even as fans, like, see, I think a lot of people who have been on the waiting list for season tickets,
Yeah.
a lot of them are going to get their
Bro,
season
I would
tickets.
not buy. I would not buy
Well,
season
like,
tickets
no,
if
like,
I
this
lived in
is-
Miami. Hell no. Hell no, dude.
No, but
Hell
honestly,
no.
and Daniel and DSG, I know you guys are going at it in the comments. I've been a fan since I'm born in '82. As long as I can remember going back to the mid '80s, I've been a fan. As long as I can know the Dolphins, I've been a fan. It doesn't question the fact that we cannot be hard on our team because we just want our team to do well. We are the longest drought in sports, and especially in football, of winning a playoff game. A playoff game. And our teams travel. There are people who spend hundreds upon hundreds upon
First
hundreds of dollars.
round playoff game.
A first round playoff game. It's not even fun. Like, even if they would have lost today 21-20, at least they showed something.
Something.
They did nothing. They did this against Tennessee. They did this against Buffalo. They've done this against the Titans years ago, even with Flores. But at least Flores had nothing. He had Devontae freaking Parker and Jesse Davis.
Dude, scrubs, bro.
Scrubs.
Like they had what was that guy? Albert Wilson the third was one of our receivers.
Yes.
You know, Devontae Parker, Jakeem Grant, bro.
I can't even remember who our running back was. Who was our running back? I can't even remember.
Who was it?
Duke Johnson.
Salvin Ahmed.
Yes.
Miles
Gaskin.
Miles. Dude, it was Miles.
And we did
more.
It was Miles. And we did more.
Bro. Dude, bring back the TNT wall, dude.
Yeah.
Bring back the TNT wall is all I gotta say. Listen, Evan, I gotta let you go, man.
You have to go?
Yeah, I gotta go. I'm sorry about that, man.
Okay, go for it. I'll keep going.
Hey, listen, it was great talking to all of you guys.
Too, guys. I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah, my parting thoughts, is just look, it is what it is. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna get there at some point. But
no, you have to wait a minute.
You have
to wait a minute. Look who's joining.
Look,
let him fix the stage. Let him fix the stage.
Okay,
Bobby, he knew you were coming. He ran away. He had the sense that you were coming, and he ran away. Neil has to run the moment you're going to come in. So I will let you set everything up, Bobby, so you can talk to Neil for about 30 seconds, and then you can come in. So you have to take 5 minutes to talk to Bobby Finstock.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to start another post game show. This is round 2 of the post game show.
Hello, everybody.
Good seeing you, Bobby.
By the way, did you buy me something nice? That was the longest shopping spree ever.
Sorry. Now, dude, when you first off, running around, it's trying to, kind of fix some stuff up, and then you're wondering what Santa's going to bring, what you're going to bring, all that extra stuff.
Yeah.
It is crazy. So,
you got a goal today.
Yeah, I did. We all did got a lump of gold. First off, I want to just say shout out to everyone who's tuning in right now. Appreciate you all watching the post game show. So sorry for my delay. As you all know, I'm not
How did I
usually
do?
this late. Vinstanza. Hey, did I miss the rant? If I did, no.
Oh, come
It
on,
was
Neil. I
great.
was good today. Neil, I was great.
He
Today.
was good. He was good.
Oh,
It was
okay,
great.
all right.
It was
Well,
great.
let me shout out first off to Neil, man. Neil, brother, I haven't seen you in a while. I haven't heard from you. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on here, bro. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I wish I could stay longer, man, just to chat some
No.
more Dolphins with you, man. I
You're
gotta get
welcome
gone,
anytime.
but I'll try to come on more often, Bobby. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna hit you up because for sure, brother. I want to get you out. We can get probably start up the Goon Squad soon. Talk some heat, man.
Awesome, man. I'll
So-
talk to y'all later. Good
Talk to you
seeing you
soon,
guys.
brother.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you, my man. Later. Man, that's cool. Neil,
Move me to
coming
your
on
good
here.
side. Move you're always good on the left.
Bobby is getting a new quarter.
Yeah. So Bobby,
Oh man,
we've had quite a little fun for the first hour. Were you able to listen to any of it while you were driving?
bits and pieces because
Yeah.
I was, trying to hear it while I was driving to one store and then the other, just making sure everything was going well. But yeah, I heard bits and
We've talked
pieces.
everything. We've talked about the whole thing. Give everybody who's been watching your thoughts on this football game. We both predicted a victory. You had a good feeling about this game, and just that first drive, Tua's performance. Like, I'll let you just go through the gamut of you go on your rant. Like, get angry, get frustrated. Like, this is a team that literally, in all our years, everything we've been through this season, like, this is I think their worst performance I think I've seen all year. This is worse than Green Bay.
I'm numb. I am numb. That's where I am right now with this football team. You said it plainly. I felt really good about this team, and I did say on pregame the only way Miami could lose if they beat themselves. And when you throw 3 interceptions and you lose a fumble, you beat yourself. I know offensive line will probably be thrown out there. Carmen Jackson, whatever the hell his name is.
Jackson Carmen.
Whatever. He doesn't matter because he's irrelevant. He won't matter shit by the end of the season. Liam Eichenberg probably is going to play his last season with Miami. He should, but as long as Greer's the GM, who knows? The offensive.
Can you imagine if he re-signed him? Oh my!
The offense was so underwhelming. Not taking away from Devon Achen or Jonnu Smith. Okay, and Raheem Mostert got some plays, right? He did. It was good.
He wasn't very good,
but it wasn't very good. And then you start to go, now I kind of see it. But Achen and Jonnu, credit to them. I know that's in some of the things in the comments there in our DMs there with FTSN. We're talking about, was it underthrown? Was it this? Was it that? It was an underthrown ball at the end, but it wasn't Tyree's hand. He has to come down. That's why I put it on both of them. And that's when your star players have to step up during that time. In that moment, the game is on. Your defense there's been a lot of shit thrown at our defense, who's ranked 9th in the NFL all year by fans. It's not our offense. Our defense is garbage. Our defense did damn good today. Chop Robinson showed up. Our defense showed up.
Zach Sealer.
Our defense gave our offense one more opportunity with 1 minute and 50 some odd seconds to go, and they decide to throw the ball downfield instead of going to the sideline. They decided to throw it downfield. It's underthrown, and it's an interception. Tyreek lets the ball get torn out of his hands. This game is not on our defense at all. This was on our offense.
A little on Jordan Poyer.
Screw Jordan Poyer.
Did you see him in the best? Did you see him in the end zone? What? Where's the what? That guy was lost. But what did I say about that guy? That guy is something else. Him and Holland.
We're getting a Tua jersey.
Him and Holland. But anyway, let me ask you, what was Mike McDaniel thinking going into the half? Run the goddamn ball, and Jason Sanders is automatic from 50 all of a sudden. Kick the field goal, go into the half.
I agree.
Point down.
Yeah. I don't know.
And that fake punt.
Miami beats themselves. And what's crazy about the fake punt that Houston ran successfully, which was crazy, is that supposedly Mike McDaniel and company were expecting it. They called the right play. Apparently you didn't because your guys didn't execute. So you're putting the blame on your players because you're saying, we expected it. We called the right play. It just didn't work out. No, 100% I did. praying hard for him. I don't know. I haven't seen any updates, but
As
that was
rough as
very scary. Very
Um,
scary. So all love and prayers to DeBow. I mean, and that was such a and Tua said it, that he put him in a bad situation. I mean, he almost did it to Devon Achane last week. I don't know what's up with Tua today. Tua, I mean, he could
his
not.
arm.
I don't know what happened when he runs to it. Usually he's pretty good running to his left, but he got it. He
No
couldn't.
arm.
It's something. I don't know what it was. You can't blame the weather. You can't blame prime time.
How about crowd noise?
Can't blame the crowd noise. There are a lot of Dolphin fans in that audience, in that crowd. You just didn't. They didn't show up. They didn't want it. That's what it
12
was.
points for 12 points.
And that's the thing. You had so many opportunities to score way more than that. That's what pisses me off. That's what pisses me off. Can't wait to join the show for sure. He is who he is, right?
Yeah.
He ain't great. He's not elite. He's not great. I don't think, he could be good, but today showed what he is. How do you do that? And how many times were those interceptions how do you not see the safety standing right in front of you? Tyree's running here. Here's the safety. He's not hiding. He's not wearing green as the grass. He can't hide and blend in.
No camouflage there.
There's no camouflage. It's not white on white snow. You threw it right to him. Almost twice. It could have been 4 interceptions.
Oh, yeah, he blocked it. Bullock dove for it. Can you explain
to me?
That's it.
Look.
Spot throwing. Yeah,
look.
exactly.
That's it.
It's enough with the anticipatory throws.
Yeah, that's it. Can
you explain me the offensive line with 3 penalties in a row?
Well, let me tell you something. Again, I put that on coaching.
Third, I know,
and I put it on Chris Greer, Mister. You're more worried about offensive line than we are.
My God!
And Steve,
except Aaron Brewer. Aaron Brewer was
Aaron
the one.
Brewer.
Aaron Brewer.
Aaron.
I think people call him Aaron. He was not bad today. He is not the problem.
No, I didn't have problems. No.
And explain
credit
to me,
where credit's due. John.
And what was with the timeouts?
Brewer.
He blew all the time. And why don't you take it before the 2-minute warning? What is wrong? And he's running down the field. Timeout. Like, they can't get the plays in. They can't get the plays in, Bobby.
Look, I'll say it here. I don't know if it was said before, but I'm going to say it. I said it last week. I did say it last week. Evan made me repeat it when I said it, but I'm going to say it. Sure. That's it. That's a wrap. Let's be real.
I was right.
Anything that could have happened in Miami's favor. Chargers, I think they lost against Tampa. I'm not sure if it finished
40-17. I said this. Baker Mayfield went in.
Well, we both didn't we both go Tampa?
Yes.
Yeah.
He destroyed them. 4
here's
touchdowns.
This is the thing. Miami. I said I felt good about this game. Houston did not play like a team.
They played like crap.
They played like crap. And Miami said, "Oh well, let me play worse. Let me just do everything in my power to Tua." It's not like, "Oh, but he didn't have time." Oh well. No shit. That Carmen Jackson and Eichenberg were garbage, no doubt. But those interceptions weren't rushed throws.
No,
those were throwing them right where they needed to be. You're not really watching it. You're just throwing it and waiting for your guy to get there.
Oh,
that was ridiculous. And I
could you imagine my reaction if this happened? We'd have to take the day. You and me would take the day off work. We would do an 8-hour show. I literally would be. You and me. We'd be 24 hours. I think Brett would quit. I think Brett would run outside his work naked. Can you imagine the day? I think Brett Lagasse might run over the Delaware Memorial Bridge naked if Greer got fired. Like, you understand the relief that would happen, Bobby, if Greer got fired? No one wants to have someone get fired. It's their livelihood.
Yeah, I know.
But I think we'd all scream of joy. Like, like when Macaulay Culkin is jumping on the bed with the popcorn that he's free because his family left him, because they left him at home. That's going to be us.
It was just abysmal. And you could credit where credit is due when you look at Jonnu and you see Sealer and all these guys. But my God, dude, Jordan Poyer is a joke. Javon Holland seems like he's checked out. He does not deserve another contract. I don't give a damn. I talk about being right. What did I tell you about Javon Holland, dude? Right, you know what I mean? It's like, and I hate to say that because you want him to succeed. You think a contract year would play your best ball so the other teams and even the yards courage. He has not. He's totally checked out, in my opinion. It's a joke. He got all upset when you had Jordan Brooks and Deshaun Elliott on another calling them soft. Well, you're freaking soft, and our offense was soft as hell.
I don't want to hear about the defense because the defense, as bad as they were, this offense is disgusting.
This loss is not on the defense.
This season is on.
I'm pointing out defensive players, but let's be real. The defense did their job. Okay, they gave Miami's offense an opportunity to win. They got the offense off the field. They got Houston's off multiple times. They got them off the field. Miami couldn't capitalize. They couldn't do the job offensively.
Can I ask you an important question? Why would anyone? Because it goes back to Nick Saban being interviewed a few weeks ago, last week, about Belichick, about the whole Miami job. Remember, he talked about it on the McAfee show, how you have to be careful what job you take if you're Ben Johnson going to the Bears, because you have to worry about the cap situation. Like, I went to a difficult situation in Miami. If you're a general manager or you're a coach and Ross is the owner, this is not an attractive job. I know everyone wants an NFL job, but you're in cap hell. Like, this is what Ross doesn't. And if they don't do it now, if they wait till after next season when they go into cap hell, they need to do it now, and they're not going to. But the reason why they need to do it now is this is probably the most critical draft in the Dolphins history of this century, because you need to get right on all these players, because contracts are going to turn over. You're going to be in cap hell, and you need young, talented star players to be on your team next season and the season after that, because you're going to be stuck in cap hell.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, what do you think there?
Okay. So any job in the NFL is an attractive job.
Okay.
Miami has been in cap hell for a while, but they find their way out of it because, you restructure deals and do that and do whatnot. And there's smarter people around the NFL than a Chris Greer that could probably do that job way better. If I'm looking at Miami's roster in general, I think it's you got to obviously think about depth and shit and offensive line. Overall, though, talent wise, I'm attracted to it, right? I mean, I'm talking outside fan. You look at the roster in general. You look, okay, he's not good, he's not great, or no, he's not great, he's not elite, but he's good. I could deal with him for another season. You look at Devon Achane. Let's say you decided to keep Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle or both. Jonnu, you kind of resign him. Okay, Zach Sealer, he's signed, he's good. Chop Robinson, I mean, what a shout out to him, man. We said it earlier, and he played a damn good game.
He was a rookie today, though. Yeah,
he still played good. He
did the best he could.
He did it. Yeah, no, he did good, and he did his job. He did well. Kohu had some clutch plays there at the end, or during that game. But I'm looking at him going, okay. But also, when you look at these other pieces, when you look at a Jalen Ramsey and you look at a Tyreek Hill, and let's say you're like, you know what? No, this team needs more work. I need to reset it. You got pieces. You got pieces to move. You can move around pieces and spread out, you trade one guy for three guys or three draft picks, and then now you draft three extra guys. But this is the thing where the job gets unattractive, Evan. It's not the players. It's not the cap. Even the executive, the guys who've been doing this for years will say cap's an illusion. You just know how to work it. That's not why this job's unattractive. It's unattractive if you fire Greer and you go to a GM and go, hey, I want to hire you as my GM. Here's my roster. Oh yeah, you got to keep Mike McDaniel as head coach. God. Or you fire McDaniel, you try to hire another head coach. let's say of Vrabel or whomever, and you say, okay, Vrabel, yeah, but if you join this squad, you got to have Chris Greer as your GM. That's when the job's unattractive. Ross needs to have the balls to clean house. Has to do it. And again, the only way I would be okay with a Mike McDaniel continuing on, the only way you would see me okay with it is if they gave the opportunity to the GM to make that decision, because then that would have to mean then you could marry them together. If it comes out that Stephen Ross said, no, we want to keep McDaniel, and then he hires a rookie GM, and then you're like, it's the same shit. Oh, we repeat it every 3 years. Yeah. No, you need to go. And that's the thing too. And that might be the reason why Ross doesn't want to do another reset. He's 84. He wants to ride it out with the guys with what they've got. Let's add extra pieces and let's ride. But the problem is the formula does not work. The formula you have on this roster, the way it is constructed, and it doesn't take a freaking rocket scientist or a 30-year NFL veteran in the front office or a 10-year head coach, a coach in the staff. Doesn't take anyway. You could be a guy who plays Madden every day, and you could do a guy, or you could just be somebody who sits at home and watches games their whole life. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to look at this team week in and week out to realize it does not work. The formula is broken. There has to be changes. Miami could go with the same core. They could go with the same offensive staff or the same staff at coaching. They could go with the same GM. And they could add a couple more pieces. And everybody's going to be singing Kumbaya because of the high-end pieces that they've got. Because when you got players like a Tyreek Hill, a Jalen Waddle, a Tua Tagovailoa, a Devon Achane, you got Jalen Ramsey, you got Zach Sealer, Chop, you got Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips coming back next year. Yeah, it's hard not to look at that team and go, oh, I can see this as an 11, 12, 13-win team. Sure. But guess what? It's never been, and it won't, because the way it's constructed will not work. It has to change.
Bobby, before you go read that comment,
yeah.
Did you happen to, while you were shopping, did you and Tati happen to buy some new screens for your windows, considering Mike McDaniel stole most of your everyone's screens? Because have you ever seen that many screen passes in your life, to the point where when Jonnu Smith got the ball late in the fourth quarter, he banked them. He wasn't even prepared. He goes, I don't want the football. Like, he's sort of like, I don't need this anymore. I don't want to run anymore. Like, every play that Tua did was, I'll just give it to the guy next to me. Tua did not know what to do with the football. He just, I'll just give it to the guy next to me. I don't want the football. Here. Like, at the point, it doesn't work.
First of all, let's preference this, though. We did call that. We did expect that, right? Let's be real. But here's where you're right. That should be your last option. Look downfield, look at your other options, then get to your check down. Go to your screen. No, that's not the problem, though. That's not what they did. It was a design play. Just get it out. Get it out. And then what happens? Knock down. Again, shout out to Jonnu Smith, who got positive yardage. That dude fights for it. Shout out to Devon Achane for every time that guy touches the ball, he's trying to make a play.
He's the one who made the tackle on the 5-yard line.
That right? That tells me who he is. I'm not throwing stones at you. I'm just saying it like this. Hear me out. I don't want to hear any slander on Devon Achane, the football player, or who he is. No, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying to you. I know where you come from. What I'm saying is I will never stand for anyone to say anything negative about Devon Achane as a football player. When you are one of the focal points of this offense, and your quarterback throws an INT, and everyone else, Tua started slowing down, which I get it. Can't hate on that. But Tua started slowing down. Everybody started slowing down. You know who didn't slow down? You know who saved that touchdown? Who ran 58 whatever yards at 90 miles per hour, full speed ahead, and played the whole freaking game? Devon Achane. That's a football player. That's the type of players you want on your football team. Big, small, no matter, fat, skinny, whoever you can. I don't give a damn. When you have heart like that, you should be on this football team. Those are the type of players you should want on your team. Soft. I talked about it a few nights ago or a couple weeks ago with this football team, and I got crap for it. They played soft. I'm sorry, Scotty. Let me read Scotty's comment here. Bobby, Ross is going to make the decision on McDaniel and hire GM accordingly. In my opinion, Ross is going to hire a guy that keeps or gets rid of McDaniel according to what Ross wants in my opinion. I get it. That's cool. And that's fine. In regards of if that's what Ross does, that's on him. Will it be the right decision? Absolutely not. You hire someone to do the job, let them do the job. You bring in a new GM, you say, man, this is your roster. I'm trusting you with this. Ross should be in a spot where, unless Ross wants to be the GM, Ross needs to be in the spot where he completely trusts the guy he hires. I'm hiring. My role in this is hiring you. I will take blame for hiring you. Hire the GM, and then you tell the GM whatever you want to do. You know, if you want to trade Tyreek, you do it. You want to fire McDaniel, that's your responsibility. But you put that on him. You don't go, well, I want to keep McDaniel, so I'm going to go ahead and hire you. And, you know, we're going to reset this another 3 years. You're not resetting anything. That's why this whole illusion of, oh, you guys want to do this over and over and over again. Have we really done it? Has the Dolphins done a reset at all? Honestly, no. This is the same regime. It's the same guy. Even without Chris Greer, when it was Mike Tannenbaum. Guess who worked under Mike Tannenbaum? Chris Greer.
Half my life.
The same
Half my life.
regime and the same style of running that regime. So no, Miami has never done a full reset. So yes, I'm all in favor for it. Do it. Get it done. Let it start fresh. Let a new regime, new mindsets come in here and do it. Stager says it best. Mediocrity costs you draft picks and playoff spots. Miami is 6-8. 6-8. They're not going to the playoffs. They're not going. Yeah, you could manipulate the playoff machine all you want, and they could get there. Sure.
Oh yeah, with the Chargers losing today, they probably think they have a chance.
Fat chance in hell. But guess what? They don't make the playoffs. Guess where they're going to be? In the teens, in the draft. And that's not because I love the draft. I think the teens are just fine. I love trying to dig deep. I'd rather go 32. Give me the 32nd pick. Give me a 20 some odd pick with a playoff win. I'm cool with that. It has nothing to do. I'm not about taking whatsoever. How the quarterback gets a free pass once again is beyond me. I don't know. I don't know, Cap. I don't know who's giving him a free pass. I'd love to see
McDaniel. They were giving him a pat on the back after his third interception. Where was the anger? Like where did Tyreek Hill wasn't angry? No one gets angry. Remember I told you that last year? There's no anger. They were so loose this week. That's what everyone was saying. They're laid back. They're calm. They're loosey-goosey. Like Steve Malloy loves to say, Mike McDaniel runs a social club.
Yeah, I would say
social worker.
Okay, if it's McDaniel, that's a different beast, and that's damaging in its own fault. You should be able to get in your guy and say, man, stay down. But no, Tua is not getting any free passes.
He's getting ripped.
Tua was horrible. Horrible.
Worst game he's played in a long time.
I don't want to hear about it. Offensive line was bad. That's not why he was bad. That's not why he was bad. And Tyreek did not show up. And your coach continued to make bad decisions. The problem. I'm sorry. What was that? I'm not looking at the comments. So
the problem with the total rebuild is that we're not 1-13.
They're not 1-13.
And just to make it very clear to everybody, I said this to you last week, Bobby. I said this to you the week before. When our kids struggle in school and they need help, what do? Who do we hire? Hire a tutor or get them extra help. If you're not performing well at work, you have meetings with your bosses, you go over your stuff, you tutelage them. Sometimes the first year, you kept on telling me, people kept on telling me he's a rookie head coach. He's a rookie head coach. The man is 3-17. 3-17 against winning football teams. 3-17 in 3 seasons. I understand he was trying to be nice, but you think that Brian Flores or Don Shula or Jimmy Johnson, when they had the chance to break the record in week 3 last year, instead settled for a field goal, instead of getting the greatest record in NFL history, Mike McDaniel doesn't have the backbone, doesn't have the strength, because he has not gone up the ladder. He's had different jobs in different places. But Brian Flores went to be a DC for a couple of years and took a defensive line job, then went to be a DC and is now earning his way back up. Mike McDaniel, like you said, wasn't interviewed by anybody else. He might be a nice guy. He might be a good guy to the quarterback. But at what point is his sample? He is going to finish this season after 3 years with a worse record than Brian Flores, who was in the first 3 years of the rebuild. In the first 3 years of the rebuild, Mike McDaniel will probably end up with an equal or worse record than Brian Flores, who had Myles Gaskin, Duke Johnson, Savon Ahmed, Devontae Parker, Albert Wilson, Jesse Davis. Like, what are we talking about here exactly? Mike McDaniel has all the talent in the world. A top 5 quarterback you could sort of win with, 2 elite wide receivers, a stud tight end. You had Gesicki too, you never used him. You have Jalen Ramsey. You have at what point do we not put it on the heck? Greer's to blame, but you got riches. You got players. You got the players you wanted. You've been sitting in that draft room. You chose Jalen Wright. You moved up to get Jalen Wright. What did Jalen Wright do that you're giving him 1 carry a game? 1. What did he do? You went up to draft him. You've given more. You made Liam Eichenberg your starting left tackle. And you in the 3rd round, and you moved up to go get him. But you get Jalen Wright and you forget to use him? The play calling, and I've yet to say one bad word about him. I know he'll probably be back. But at what point does he never get? No one asked him the hard questions on why he continues to make buffoonery of game day. And can I ask you a question? I meant to ask you this, Bobby. What were you doing when Tua went head first?
It's just like the guy on the sideline. Did you not see the Dolphins staff member on the sideline? No, he went like this. I did the same thing. I was sitting in my chair in the living room.
I went like this.
We both went like this.
I went. You know what I did? I go. He got hit in the ribs hard.
He did. I think I saw some of it, and then he was hurt. But again, as much as I can't stand it, he has to be, and he even admitted he has to be smarter. That's a football play. He's trying to make a play, and I hope. Again, I haven't heard anything on DeBow.
He says he's stable. They're leaving him there for observation overnight.
Okay. Thank God.
But by the way, Tua is throwing hospital balls.
Yeah, he is. No, he is.
He is really throwing hospital balls.
Yes, sir.
By the way, does Eichenberg fall on every single play? Is he does he have is everything a slip and slide to him?
Let me just say this very quick, because I've seen that before, and that goes with Mike McDaniel. Oh, if you don't Mike McDaniel, who do you want? Well, if you don't want Chris Greer, who do you want? If you don't want Tua, who do you want? Again, I will say it, and I'll say it again, and I mean that even after today. You could win a playoff game with Tua at quarterback. You could win enough games to make the playoffs with Tua. You have. But Tua again showed what he is today. He could have great games like he did last week. And he have this game right here. That's who he is as a quarterback. But for a fan who says, you know what, dude, I just don't see it, man. We need another guy, whatever. I don't know. I didn't see Steve write that. But, it's like, that's my problem with people say stuff like that. Well, who do you want? Who's available? Who are you going to take? Who gives a shit? Really? Like, Mike McDaniel. Get rid of McDaniel. Oh, well, who are you going to hire then? I'll give you 3 names. I mean, but it's up to the GM. Who are you going to hire as a GM? Okay, let me get the 32 teams and all their staff members. Anybody but Chris Greer. How about that? Anybody but McDaniel. Let me do that. I mean, whatever. McDaniel, whatever. I say leave the GM. But, come on. I can't say
Do you think that the game would have been called that way if Mike Vrabel's the head coach today? Or Bill Belichick? Veteran head coaches don't make the mistakes this guy made. And by the way, I would like you to – I guess Scotty joined the show late. I love Scotty, but he did it last week to Devon Achane. You're asking when's the last time he did it? He did it last week to Devon Achane! Devon Achane almost got tattooed last week. Tattooed.
He did get tattooed. He just got back up.
And by the way, he is noodle arm. I've never seen it go. Did you see him? How much might he have to do to get off the side? His arm, something.
His arm's been. I just don't know. I don't want to say that
he couldn't get on the sideline.
Yeah, I don't know. He might be dealing with something still. I don't know.
And they still can't
But-
throw the ball downfield. And by the way, I knew it was bad, and I love how Big O says it, so I'm going to steal it from him. We have a bunch of Oompa Loompas. I understand we got rid of OBJ, and Grant Dubose was our biggest guy, but between Malik Washington,
I've been saying it for a while.
Malik
We need a big
Washington-
receiver. We need a big guy.
Malik Washington, at least Devontae Parker was tall. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, they don't have any tall people. Look, it's Gesicki, vertical, never used them. Like, these are Oompa Loompas. They're very, very small.
Anyway,
So,
you want
wanna
to
give other
drop a
people a
link
chance to
for?
talk?
Yeah. Let's
do it.
drop the
Want me
link
to
for a
do it or you
little
wanna
while
do it?
here. No, you go ahead.
guys, you want to join? We will drop the link, and you can have your say.
Agree,
We'll gladly
agree or disagree. We will stay quiet and let you have the floor. Feel free to do it.
Did you buy me anything nice for Christmas this year?
He did get killed. Agent just got up. The grass is greener on for others. Who cares who we get to replace them, right? No, sometimes the grass is not always greener, Scotty. Sometimes the grass is not always greener because you could let's say for instance, so those who want to get rid of Tua, you could get a Tua, and then you could go ahead and get yourself a Jay
who's
Cutler.
here?
Yeah,
Look
you get
who's
yourself a Jay
here.
Cutler. But again, you could always be afraid to see what's on the other side, or you could take the opportunity because what's been great about this?
Yeah, Bobby's gonna be happy now.
Yeah, let's get in. Let's get him in here. Let me fix the
I will.
Finn, how you doing?
Will
buddy?
Patron
Where are you
305
off to on
Sports
this-
now in the house.
What's up?
man?
Where are you hanging out today in
No,
Miami?
no,
today?
I'm still representing my Canes, man, while I'm walking my dog, dude. It's
Okay.
yeah, I'm at home. Once I saw you drop that link, I'm like, oh, I'm getting on the show.
I don't blame you. We're gonna give people the chance to talk. I've done two post game shows. One with Neil, and I let Bobby do the whole thing again with me. So I've been pretty good tonight.
Yeah. By the way, guys, great show, man. I agree with everything you guys are saying.
Yeah.
I agree with everything you guys are saying. So I'm still not sold on the get rid of McDaniel thing, and so on. But I do agree with you, Bobby. It hasn't really changed because the front office hasn't changed because
That's
they go from Tannenbaum, they go from Tannenbaum then to Greer. It hasn't really changed, but this team is just built really poorly. I mean, really, really poorly. And Tua played a horrific game, 4 turnovers. I don't know who's giving him a pass, but definitely isn't the media or me or you guys. So, I mean, even the interceptions were atrocious.
No, even
Like
the media,
atrocious.
the national or the Miami media right now, some of them who've been defending, McDaniel and Greer are coming out and saying this is bad. This is not, they're not working at all. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. It's just not working. That's why I've said you need to draft a quarterback in this year's draft. It's I mean, not necessarily maybe to have him start the first game, but give it a couple of years of development and then have him take over the reins. Especially since Tua only has like a 4-year contract with the team, literally.
Yeah, I see that. If you get a new GM and a coach, if that goes down,
absolutely.
I don't see Tua leaving right away. Tua's contract. You let him be. Then you draft a guy either to be the backup or to groom and then take over a year or two down the line. It's more realistic to me with Greer and or McDaniel. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I get it, but I mean, this team is just built really, really poorly altogether. The defense played, I thought, pretty well. They kept C.J. Stroud in check for most of the game. I love Chop Robinson, especially in 2nd and long and 3rd and long. I think he's been what's advertised. They said he couldn't stop the run, but he's literally going after the quarterback very much. So he had a good sack on C.J. Stroud today, who not easy to catch on the run, and he caught him by the ankle straps and brought him down. So I think the defense has potential if you get some better pieces, but this offense really needs a makeover, a real strong makeover. I'm open to trading Tyreek Hill. I think that's something that needs to be done. He's 30 years old. I'm open to trading Tyreek Hill as well. And I think Eichenberg needs to go. I don't know if you saw my comment. I think Eichenberg needs to go quicker than Hunter Long.
Robert Jones.
Oh, Robert Jones too. I don't know how you drafted Hunter Long when you had Brevin Jordan in your backyard, the Miami Hurricane Titan standout, who was a much better athlete, blocker the whole 9 yards. When I saw them pick him and not pass up on Brevin, I was totally flabbergasted with that. But yeah, guys, I totally agree with you. I think that this team needs an overhaul. I'd be curious, Mike Vrabel. I know you're a big Mike Vrabel fan, Bobby. In general, I'd be curious to see how. But I don't think even he could do early on with this team. It's just built soft. It's built soft. He had Derrick Henry as a running back, and they were averaging like freaking nearly 200 yards a game rushing. when he was over in Tennessee, because they had that bell cow from Alabama. So we'll see what would happen with this run.
Who was at first off, the Lakers all day is in the back, but we thought we see you. Don't
We'll
worry,
get to
you'll
you.
pop
We'll
in
get to
just
you.
in a moment, man. Appreciate you coming in. For Tennessee before Vrabel, I'm trying to remember his name. I think he was the Buffalo Bills head coach, and they went to a playoff game and they lost.
Wade Phillips.
No, it wasn't Wade. No, it was not Wade. I'm trying to remember his name. Mahoney? No.
Doug Marrone.
Marrone. Yes, Doug Marrone. So
Marrone.
they brought him in. And then Vrabel ended up coming in, and it was Mariota, and it was Henry. And they weren't what it was. You got to take time. And then they brought in Ryan Tannehill. And that's when they made the run. And that's it, putting that on Tannehill, but you got to give him a little bit. Has Tua peaked? The SG level keeps asking. Yes, Tua is who he is. I'm not going to say what he is. But he is who he is. He's not going to be any greater or great. He'll have some great games. And he'll have today's game, and then he'll have a good game. He's just that right there. He'll never be that consistently great player ever. Yeah. Yes, he's peaked. But you could still win with him. Preference.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Yeah, can it happen overnight? And I'm not going to say, oh, Brian Flores was the right coach. What I'm saying is, very quick, when Brian Flores was here, less is more, right? He did more with less than what Mike McDaniel could do with this, because of the mentality he put on this football team, the nature he brought. They mimicked just like this team. It's the identity of your coach. If you bring in someone like a Mike Vrabel, what that presence and what he has, and when we talk about soft, we're not talking about little guys here and there, because we talked about it. You and I talked about it, Alex, as well. When I was saying, if you see Vrabel, that he might have threw it. Lovie Smith, he was not some big, but he was that dude 6 foot. That doesn't make you a great coach. But when you could get into your player and demand excellence, demand he does his job, do it well. If you don't do it well, get the hell off my field. That's a different beast. Because Bill Belichick, who just went to North Carolina, we talked about it. Yeah. If you saw the real Bill Belichick in Publix, we would be, oh shit, it's Bill Belichick. But if you see Bill Belichick in as a rando, that's not gonna, you're gonna be some little guy, get out of here, I'm going on my way.
Yeah.
But look what he does. Look what he's able to, what he demands respect. There's players on that roster that always will respect him. Or you see big guys like that with their head down about to cry when you have guys like that getting in their face and tell them, do your job. McDaniel's not that guy. So someone like a Vrabel, like you say, again, former player, former head coach, he's been to the AFC Championship game. He's led his team there. It's not just Derrick Henry. It's also that defense. He was one of the worst offensive lines, still won with him. Brought in Ryan Tannehill, which Dolphin fans shit on all the time. Still went to the AFC Championship. You know what I mean? That's what he did. That's what a coach does. A coach who delegates. You're the OC. You're the DC. I'm the coach. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about that.
Really quick, if you don't mind me adding on, so you can bring the other guy a little bit. I gotta go in soon. But I also think like those kind of coaches, they have to have a winning pedigree for them to demand that kind of respect. I'll give you an example. Nick Saban is a hard ass coach. He made Manny Wright cry, but he almost got punched in the face by Zach Thomas because he hadn't done it in the NFL. So that's pretty much what I'm saying. Like you could be, I think disciplinarians personally win more football games. But you have to have a culture where you
want a disciplinarian. You don't have to. That's where.
But let me tell you, Pete Carroll was a happy-go-lucky guy in the press conferences, but he ran some tough practices.
Hell yeah.
Over there in Seattle, he ran some very tough practices. Jimmy Johnson was a happy-go-lucky guy in press conference, very, very likable. But he would get it. He would get in your face and scream at you. But he also won games. You know what I mean? He won championships, so he could do that. Bill Belichick could do that because he's won 6 Super Bowls. That's what I'm saying. So I think Vrabel could do that because he's been to an AFC's championship game at least. He's got already that moxie.
Fair.
That moxie, to do that. Mike McDaniel, I mean, it's just not working. They call him Mike. They don't even call him coach. They call him Mike. We saw that in Hard Knocks when Jalen Waddle said, "Well, Mike," and that's listen, man, I'm a balanced teacher. I'm a balanced teacher. I like getting along with my students, but I'll never let them call me William.
No,
that's just not happening.
You know who Mike McDaniel is? Did you ever watch? Do you remember the show back in the day? David E. Kelly had Boston Public.
Yeah,
that show. He's Goober. He's Goober. That's who he is. He's not the principal. He's the vice principal who thinks he's a disciplinarian. But in the end, you need the principal to do the disciplinary things. He's mediocre. Yeah. He doesn't have the pedigree. No one respects him. Mm-hmm. No one's going to respect. Oh, his offense today. I said this to you. I'm looking behind you in your window. Are your screens still in your window? Because Mike McDaniel threw more, or must have stolen them because he threw more screens today than any play caller.
Evan's
gonna
keep using that same joke. That same.
It's saying.
Awesome. We use it for everybody. You still
you like my lights, Evan? You like my lights? He hasn't taken the lights yet. He hasn't taken the lights.
Bobby, do you put Christmas lights out?
Huh? Yes, I do.
You don't do them yourself, do you?
Yeah.
You get up on the roof?
We do our own lights. Why? You don't? You hire someone? Must be nice with all that money.
I'm Jewish. I don't have Christmas lights.
Oh, that's right. No,
well, I have Hanukkah lights and a Hanukkah.
No, it's perfect.
I was about to say that. You better have a Hanukkah.
I have a Hanukkah.
You have a menorah out there, brother.
Exactly. Hey, I'm going to Katz's Deli on Christmas Day. That's gonna be cool.
So, Evan, you don't do the Christmas with the Hanukkah because my neighbor across he blends it. He does Christmas and Hanukkah. So have Hanukkah lights with Christmas lights.
I could do both. We have a mix of both. We put
Oh, that's cool.
We do a little more casual. It's like in my area, you don't have that many Christmas lights. So
yeah, we're pretty proud.
Very well done.
Thank you. I try.
Very well done.
All right, gentlemen, I gotta go. It's a pleasure popping up with you guys.
Guys, that's Will 305 Sports Now. Appreciate you.
Now we're going to bring in somebody who's a fan of a team that is just as bad as the Miami Dolphins. Let's bring in Lakers all day.
What's up, Lakers?
You've been very patient.
What's up? How y'all doing?
How you doing?
How y'all doing? Well, speaking of my, just as bad team, I'm watching them right now, and we're winning 4-0.
4-0.
So that's it. Just started.
Who does Anthony
you never
Davis
know the third quarter with this team?
Who on the Miami Dolphins reminds you of Anthony Davis? Who never gives 100%? When he's on, he's on. That's Tua. When he's on, he's on. When he's off, is he bad?
Well, we're gonna do this. A-Chain reminds me of Anthony Davis because of he always give you that 100%. But Tua reminds me of Austin Reeves. Okay. Inconsistent, right? He's up and down, right? He's gonna stay. He's not gonna get any better. He's not. He's gonna stay his lane. He's not gonna get any better. He's gonna stay what Bobby said. He's gonna stay right there, just right at the his little mid, even average type of player, and that's it. He's not gonna go over that, and that's what a good head coach that we had a long time ago. We had him. We had a Mike Vrabel type of coach. We had a Nick Saban no nonsense type of coach. We had a coach that low key puts fear in these players. We had a coach that knows football. We had a coach that won Super Bowls and that his defense practice against the best quarterback in the NFL. But then you let him go because of your quarterback doesn't like him. And now you're looking back at it and you're probably looking like, dang, I should have never let him go. But guess what? You over here want to listen to maybe Chris Greer, maybe whoever you listen to about this one read quarterback, this spot throwing quarterback, this quarterback that freaking his IQ was the last of the draft in the testing. That little quarterback testing, but he was last. And guess what? He didn't have no film on him. The only thing he had film was him and that little football field, whatever, with him and that quarterback, with the quarterback they won the championship with him. But other than that, you understand? And that you just go pick up Tua because of he went to Alabama, who was his coach, and what he did in that championship, that one throw. That's it. That's all you did. You didn't do your homework. You just picked the dude because of his name and what he went to. So if you want to get this right, you gotta go. You have to go get Mike Vrabel. You have to go get Ken Ward or Shador. That's it. because that's the only way you can do this. Because 'cause look, I'm a UM fan, right? And I watch Cam Ward. Cam Ward is not nothing like Tua. Cam Ward, he is a leader. He's gonna have his head. He's gonna have a mental, calm, cool, collective game. He's gonna be in his film. He's gonna be in that playbook every single morning, every single night. Even when he plays the game, let's say he throws 2 interceptions. That's fine. He's gonna go out there. He's gonna get that first down. He's not gonna worry about, you know what I'm saying, getting jitteries and everything. You know what I'm saying? He's that dude that he goes to the next play. Yes, he makes mistakes, but guess what? He's gonna throw the iPad down. He's gonna lead his receivers and the offense to a win. That's what you're seeing at UM that this year that we didn't have. That's what we need to go get. Cam Ward, because this tool nonsense is not gonna work. We already seen it. Brian Flores told you what this dude was. And we got this head coach. We got this McDonald's out our head coach because of, you know, because of, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I can low-key help Tua out. You know what I'm saying? I can maybe, you know what I'm saying, progress his game to be where he's at. You can't do that with Tua because Tua is that limited quarterback. Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Hurts, Jordan Love, all these great, even Baker Mayfield, all these good quarterbacks that we could have had. We don't have it because we want this limited quarterback because of what the fans want at draft day. They was like, oh, let's go get Tua because of Alabama, Nick Saban. Not me, but everybody in mama, they wanted Tua on draft day. But somehow, Brian Flores knew that Tua was not the dude. But you still picked him up. So why didn't you just go let Brian Flores pick your quarterback? Because he had the championships. You don't.
Evan?
I can't disagree with him. For me, Tua, like you and I have talked about, is a capable quarterback because because of the fact that he does place the ball, he's accurate. But a quarterback like Tua Tagovailoa, which we've always talked about when he was at Alabama, needs big wide receivers. He had Henry Ruggs. He had Jerry Jeudy. He had guys who could throw to.
Those were all fast guys.
Huh?
Those were all fast guys.
But they were all. Jerry Judy's no small guy.
Yeah, he's small. He's small.
No,
yeah.
But he moves. But it worked. But he also had a bell cow. He always had a very good running back. If this guy had a Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley or a Joe Mixon, even though Joe Mixon got hurt today, or he would have had like a power back like Pacheco or someone like that, that is the kind of you need to get a proper offensive line with a power back or just a very good power back with an average offensive line and you have Jonnu Smith and you get rid of Tyreek and you get a good tall wide receiver in the draft. And I believe this Tua could do more. But the way this team is constructed on offense, Tua is never going to be a successful quarterback. He's just not. He doesn't have the offensive line nor the running back because Achane to me is the perfect third wide receiver. He's your second RB and he's your third wide receiver. He's your gadget guy. He is not your power guy. He is not your lead back. As long as he's there, it's not going to work. As long as you have Devon Achane as your number one lead back in all spots. Every time he ran through the middle today, he hit a freaking wall. If that's Derrick Henry, if that's Saquon Barkley, experienced, talented backs, they get out of it. They get out of that.
I will say, and I love Cam Ward, and grateful for him. First off, Miami won't have a draft pick that high, and
Yeah,
then
I know.
secondly,
Probably gonna trade it away anyways.
and secondly, you could put Cam Ward back there. You could put Shadir Sanders. You could put Drew Allar. You could put anybody back there at quarterback. As long as your GM is still a Chris Greer, as long as your coach with Chris Greer's GM is Mike McDaniel, ain't gonna mean a goddamn thing. Because
No.
Evans are 100% right, and I know Scotty fire Greer and Crossman now. Yeah, 1000%. I'm cool with firing Greer now and keeping McDaniel till the end of the season. That's fine. Let the new GM decide that if that's the point. And Crossman for sure. I mean, again, they put that on the players when they come out and say, "Oh, we knew that was going to happen. We figured they were going to try to fake it. We had the right play call." You put the blame on the players at that point. You're saying, "Oh, they didn't execute." No, dude, you guys have been trash all year, and you obviously haven't prepared them well enough. So, the fact is, like I've said before, and I'll say it again, and I mean that, and that's okay if people disagree. But the issue in Miami is bigger than Tua Tagovailoa. We could win enough games to make the playoffs. We've done it, and win a playoff game with Tua. That's not the issue. It's the foundation of this football team. That's the issue. It's Chris Greer. Starts with him. That's the first piece. That's the first domino. If anything else changes, if they went, a lot of fans, and I don't say a lot of fans, but a good portion of the fan base, if the end of the season comes and Tua's waived and they're going to take a cap hit and they cut him, or coming by they trade him in the draft, a lot of fans, it's all right in the world. We're going to get a new guy. Everything's better. Who's your coach? Mike McDaniel. Who's your GM? Chris Greer.
Doesn't matter.
It's going to be the same old. Doesn't matter.
You could bring in right now. I'm telling you this right now. As crazy as it sounds, Bobby. If you had Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen behind that offensive line with those Oompa Loompa wide receivers, if Mike McDaniel is your head coach, he won't let the quarterback run.
Well, and again, no, it's
he'll throw screens.
Let's stop with the head coach for a second. Let's roll with the GM.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Listen, because guess what? You fire the head coach and you keep the GM. You fire the head coach, you keep the GM. You're gonna have the same roster. You're just having a different philosophy as head coach. You need to get a new GM, because even if, let's say, you keep the coach and you fire the GM, now the coach he sits with the coach. He goes, "Hey man, this is how I want to build this football team. Where do you align with this? I want to start from the offensive line. I want to rebuild this offensive line. You're cool with that? Great. Guess what? Things may be different. Maybe Scotty then gets his wish and it works out. I think, there's a pathway to success if you go that route, but then you got to hire the right GM. And then where are you getting this guy from? Is he from the Tannenbaum tree? Is he from in-house? Is it a Reggie McKenzie? We know what he did in Oakland and Vegas, or no, with Oakland. Is it a guy Brandon Shore? Is it one of those guys, or is it someone outside? Is it someone from Kansas City? Is it someone from Buffalo? Is it someone from one of these organizations that know how to construct a team from the inside out? Then maybe, just maybe, and if they are cool with McDaniel, then you go, okay, there's a chance. And hear me out, Evan.
I wasn't going to talk.
I just saw your face.
I'm reading the comments.
Oh, okay. But
I'm laughing.
You get a new GM who focuses on the offensive line, who gets that 6'4", 6'3" wide receiver, which is one of the. Then Tua is a legitimate starting quarterback. Stop asking that dumb question. So Tua's who's saying Tua's not a starting quarterback? Maybe that's not me. Maybe that's somebody in the comments.
Somebody in the comments.
So Tua is a quarterback at best, but our online is.
Who is a starting quarterback? He's
Come on,
great
starting comments. Oh, okay. They're talking about each other. Excuse me. I'm sorry. But Scott, no, because again, Tua is a starting quarterback. He is. He is. He is.
Look, because the one thing I'll tell you, Lakers all day, people have to remember that today,
he goes. It's okay.
No, okay. I'll be honest with you. You look at the league today, and you go watch the quarterbacks that played today. Everyone wanted to put out Sam Darnold out the pasture. Everyone wanted to put out Baker Mayfield out the pasture.
Yep.
I bet you this right now. If Tua Tagovailoa was playing in Kevin O'Connell's system with Aaron Jones as his running back and Justin Jefferson as his wide receiver, Tua would be as successful as Sam Darnold in Minnesota.
Yeah, because I think you're right, but it's because maybe I'm not gonna say it might not be Mike McDaniel. Maybe it is. Maybe it's his offense. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's
it is the offense.
DSG
It's
label. Okay, Bobby, Tua would be a great backup. Not kidding.
Yeah,
No, but-
he will low key.
Yes.
I think he's
Bo
a
Nix.
backup. He's a backup because if you have limitations, right? If your arm, like today we saw his arm, right?
Mhm.
You can only throw to the flats, screens, and slant routes. You can't really go deep because if you go deep, the wide receivers are gonna have to come back to the ball. You know what I'm
Ball's
saying?
in the air for so long.
Okay.
I got it.
All right.
I got it.
Let me.
Ever play that
Hold
game?
on. Let me. This is I guess an easy way to do this.
Mhm.
Okay, I get it. I get where you're coming from. I guess, or where you're coming there in regards to that. Is there legitimately 32 starters in the NFL better than Tua Tagovailoa?
Yes.
32 other guys better.
Well. Actually, I could name like probably a lot more people.
And Tua?
and
Come on!
Not
Okay,
there.
all right, yeah, Lakers. Let me see, because I know you don't have your camera on, and that's okay. I need you to do me a favor. Okay,
Yes,
it's okay.
yes.
I understand you don't believe in him as your franchise guy, but I want
don't.
you to do me a favor, with all
Mhm.
respect, brother. Let me
Yes.
ask. I want you to take off your Haterade glasses for a second. Okay.
It's off. Okay, go ahead. It's off.
He said, "Okay, hold on. Let me get him off." Look, man. Look, dude. Look, man. You can think Tua's not a franchise guy. Okay, he's not elite. Okay, that's cool. But there are not 32 guys better than Tua at quarterback.
There aren't
There's
15.
I'm just saying, because again, I'm not saying he's elite. Okay,
Mhm.
Scotty's in the comments. Scotty's been watching for a long time. Scotty and I go back and forth. He knows where I stand. Evan knows where I've stood.
Mhm.
Okay, and I'm sure you do by now. But
Yeah.
I will say, you got to call a spade here. He's not bad. He's not great.
He's mid.
He's mid. But
Mid.
Bobby, check this out. Okay, look. If you
Label,
have
you had to go get retail therapy, argument over.
I had
That's
to
on
go
the
watch
team.
Bobby. I had to go watch 9-year-olds play hockey, and I saw more structure and more organization.
But is that on
Adam
Tua?
Hockey.
Is that on Tua?
No, it's on the head coach and the general manager.
Okay, but go ahead. Wait, Lakers was trying to finish a point before I read DSG. Go ahead.
Yeah, but okay, look. Okay, so Sam Darnold look like he's better than Tua.
Oh no, he's not. Oh
not
no,
not
he's
not
not.
better. I mean,
Better
he's
situation. Look where he
better
was.
situation. Okay, that's fine. Better situation. Okay, that's cool. What about the Buccaneers quarterback?
Baker Mayfield. Tua hasn't been moved 4 times. I love Baker Mayfield. Great guy. The guy has a power back, has Bucky Irving and Rashard White, has a tall wide receiver in Mike Evans.
All right, let's do this.
How was Baker Mayfield without Mike Evans? He wasn't very good those games. They were losing every game without Mike Evans. Every game they lost without Mike Evans.
Yes, but
Every
he's
game.
but is Blake Baker a limited quarterback?
Yes.
Do you see any flaws, like any limitations that he
He
cannot
throws
do?
interceptions and he's small.
Okay, but what else? That's it, right?
Yeah. So every quarterback has flaws, but if you look at the league today, that's like saying like Tua, everything is situational. Tua is a good quarterback, but the thing about Drew Brees' success with Sean Payton, there's a reason why Sean Payton is doing well this year, because he got a quarterback who he can develop, and the team in Denver is not so different than it was last year. The team that gave up 70 points,
I take Baker as backup any day of the week.
Yeah, but Bobby, but check this out. If Baker was on this team and Tua was on this team, Baker would take Tua's job.
No, he wouldn't, because Mike McDaniel gives Tua Tagovailoa Milton cookies every night. That's what you guys don't understand. Tua, as long as if you want the Tua narrative and Tua to really get a fair shake for us to judge him, you have to remove Mike McDaniel, because everyone ties his success to Mike McDaniel. But then you have to. That's what I don't like about some of the people.
When you're wasting energy on the Tua conversation, it's not going to because it's not going to matter. We're wasting energy.
No. I just want to say one thing.
Still Chris Greer.
Yeah.
It's not going to matter.
So let me say one thing, and I've said this to you once, and I want everyone to. people, you know what? People want to praise Mike McDaniel when Tua does well. They want to bash Tua when Tua does poorly. It's not. It's Tua. Mike McDaniel is the one consistency of this team being 3-17. Tua was not 3-17 in the 3 years with Flores. He's 3-17 with Mike McDaniel as his head coach against winning football teams.
But I have a question, right? So y'all watched the game.
Yeah.
How many times was Houston Texans in zone, and how many times were they in man? Were they playing man the whole game, or were they playing zone?
It depend on where they were. They weren't playing much man in the red zone. They were playing more man in red zone. They were playing more zone the rest of the game. It was a mix. Like, you never knew. They were very well disguised. D'Amico Ryans is a much better head coach and a much better game day prep. He had Mike McDaniel's number. Mike McDaniel has gotten roasted by every single former Shanahan tree member. The only one he didn't was McVay, but McVay that night had a returning Cooper Kupp, and that was a game where the defense won the game. Tua looked awful in that game. They only had 230-something odd yards of total offense. But every time he goes to face either LaFleur or Shan, I think next week, I hope last year, the Snowbirds had to spend $500 a ticket to sit in the nosebleeds. They're going to be able to go watch the Dolphins play for cheaper than going to Aventura Mall to watch a movie. That's how cheap it is going to be to get to watch.
Can I do this very quick? Can I just do this? And we'll have fun with this very quick.
Sure.
And first off, Lakers, man, thank you so much, brother, for hopping on with us, brother.
You're welcome.
All love and respect, my man.
You're
Appreciate you. But we're gonna have fun with this for a second, okay? I'm gonna name 32 quarterbacks.
Oh Jesus! Okay,
I'm gonna do it. I gotta do it, my dude. Come on.
Okay, wait. Okay. Before you do that, right?
Yes.
When he said about he just said something about Mike McDaniels. Talk about the offense. When I asked him about if Houston Texans play man to zone, what did you say after that? When I said that,
I said it was a mix.
It was a mix. Okay, so if it was a mix of man and zone,
he played mostly zone. He played mostly zone.
That's on the QB for not.
Of course, Tua had,
you know what I'm saying. But that's on the QB. But that's what I'm saying. So if that's not on Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel is just giving the call to Tua, and Tua has to go through, and he has to.
Tua's a robot.
But I understand that he's the zone. He likes zone.
So what do you think?
Defenses.
Let me ask you this, Lakers, if you don't mind. So we know how bad today was, and it was a bad game for Tua, no doubt, 100%.
Yes.
He failed this team. He's a huge reason, one of the main reasons, if
not
not top two reason why that Miami lost this game today, no doubt. What do you think of his performance last week?
It was what we expected because, I mean, look at what the freaking Jets defense. The Jets defense played man sometimes, and you see if you go back and watch the game when they played man defense, Tua didn't do nothing with the ball. But then you go back, but then after that, if you go back and you see the Jets playing zone defense, Tua carved up the zone defense.
Okay. And let me ask this very quick. I'm just asking, and it's for everyone that comes.
Go ahead.
I got DSG said mediocre. Oh no, Hunter says mediocre. DSG says mid as hell.
Yes.
And okay, so what about when he came back? You know, obviously threw 3 interceptions today, so that adds to it.
Yeah.
But before that, 15 interceptions. I mean, 15 touchdowns, 1 INT, 13 touchdowns, 0 interception. I mean, since he's been back, he was playing at a high level. Evan even before saying, "Hey man, if he continues this run, I mean, could he be a dark horse for MVP?" So you've been watching the same season we have. What do you think? Since he's been back, I mean, does everything he's done up until this point, what he did today, erase all of that for you, or did you? To you, it's like, whatever.
I'm still whatever. Because I mean, for me, it's winning championships. It's going to the playoffs.
I understand that. I get that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like if you keep on playing mediocre, you know what I'm saying, since last year to this year, and you didn't get better, and you're still looking the same, you're still making different, you know what I'm saying, you're still not changing your game, you know what I'm saying, to elevate your game, right? Then what have you been doing? Because you know what I'm saying, great quarterbacks, they kind of like get better during the season, you know what I'm saying? And they get better by, you know what I'm saying, film work, you know what I'm saying, film, you know what I'm saying, chemistry with the team,
Okay.
offense and all that, right? So
So
if we still have this quarterback that low key does bad late in the season, has he changed? No, he's not
no,
changing.
with Tua, he is who he is. That's
Yes.
as I see it. He's not great. He's not elite. He's good. He could play good games, but he all have very bad games as well. He is who he is. Now, again, that's why I will say, getting rid of Tua won't solve Miami's issues. They won't do it. That's why, and I say that respectfully in regards of we're wasting energy. And I see Scotty says, hey man, he's had a historic run this last 7 games.
But
where and other people say those are padded stats. Zeal,
But-
It
he's
doesn't
doing
matter
it.
what he did for 7
But
games.
Bob-
He played
but-
7 games against who?
but that's
The
what I'm
week
saying.
of the week?
But
But
Bobby,
no, but at the same time,
mhm.
he does that against bad teams. So, oh, look, he's doing it against bad teams. But then when he doesn't do it against bad teams and he has a bad game, we're gonna shit on him for that. So my thing is that call a spade a spade. You know what? Been since when he's not on this team. Here's the facts. When he's not here, we got Skylar Thompson or Tyler Huntley or Mike White or Tim Boyle, whoever you want to put. Miami is not the same football team. When he comes out, when he's playing, whether it's padded stats or not, the offense runs better.
Because Mike McDaniel designed an offense.
Either way, the fact is they win with him. Okay.
Yeah, we win some games. But come on, Bobby. But check this out, right? Okay, look. So look, would you want to win with a mediocre quarterback, right? Or would you want to win with a quarterback that has all of these attributes that can take your team
The
to
Rams,
the next level?
Duke.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
The
would you
Rams.
want to? You know what I'm saying? Like, would you want to have this mediocre quarterback, or would you want a quarterback that freaking takes your team to the next level?
Starts with one guy.
Yeah, and that's my thing. That's
Greer.
my thing.
I'll give Bobby perspective. Bobby, before you go, I want to give you perspective. You can jump. Since 2000,
go ahead.
Since the day Chris Greer walked in the door, talk about mediocrity. The Miami Dolphins are 194 and 207. We have a minus 480 differential, and we won 1 playoff game in 25 years.
So that's year 2000. Quarterbacks since 2000, right? You said 2000?
Yes.
Okay.
And he's another problem.
He is the problem.
No,
he is the problem.
Mediocrity.
No,
minus 480.
Listen, I understand he's a problem. He's the problem because he picks bad quarterbacks, cool, and everything else.
Bad everything.
And the problem is that our freaking head coaches, you know what I'm saying? He's just and now you have a quarterback and the limited quarterback. You feel me? So now all of them got to go. Because if you want to get to the Bills level, if you want to get to the Ravens level, if you want to get to the championship, move Greer, McDaniel, and Tua. Go get you a GM that knows football. Go get your head coach that takes no nonsense from players, anybody. Go get that knows football. And then, guess what? If that's the case, he might, if he knows football like you know what I'm saying, like Loki said he does, he's gonna pick a good quarterback. He's gonna pick a quarterback that's kind of like these other quarterbacks now, because that's what you need. You need a quarterback that can run. You need a quarterback that knows the defense and that will learn and how to get better and how to get these wide receivers on the same page as him. You don't need a quarterback that's just gonna spot throw. That's very limited. That can't run in the pocket. That can only just, you need that. You need a quarterback that's going to elevate your offense. That's going to elevate your team. You don't have that on the Dolphins. So why would you want to keep that here? Why? We're trying to win a championship.
But it's not about keeping that on the team. The fact is that it's the last problem to worry about. That's my thing. In regard to the 3-headed monster, it's the last thing that we're gonna have to worry about.
Yeah,
because,
but mhm.
because again, get rid of Tua and go plug in. I don't know. Let's
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins. Do
No,
that.
I mean, I know, I know. Maybe y'all, I don't know, but I feel like that we have to go 1, 2, 3, cut them all off,
Yeah.
off.
You
We
can't. You
have
can
to.
only cut 2 because
We can't
Tua's
cut
here
2.
for at least another year or 2. But McDaniel and Greer are expendable because their money doesn't go against the cap. His
Oh,
does. If you cut him or trade him,
uh huh.
your cap hit. If you cut him or do something with him, your
Mm-hmm.
cap hit on him is your dead cap is going to hell.
Okay, fine.
Hell.
Then why? Okay, fine. Then so why don't you just cut GM and cut Mike McDaniel, and then in the draft go get a quarterback?
No problem with me.
That's fine with me.
Well, then
Because
if you get a new GM and a
Mhm.
new head coach or GM and McDaniel and they
No
work
problem.
and they talk to each other and they have to come to kumbaya moment, yeah, usually that's what because the GM's gonna want his guy. He's gonna want his guy. So and that's a different beast. Now if that guy's out, do you think they're gonna draft a rookie again? And Miami's not gonna have, and that's mediocrity, and that falls on Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel. They're not gonna have a top 5 pick. So we could stop sleeping on or dreaming about a Cam Ward or Sadir Sanders, or if that's what you're into.
but what if you trade Tyreek though?
Yeah.
What if you trade Tyreek?
What if you trade Tyreek and then you probably gonna get one of those top picks because
Nope.
I don't
You
think
won't get more than a third for Tyreek at this point.
Well,
third.
Yeah, you're not going to get more.
Yeah,
No
you're
one-
not going to get
the
equal
headaches
value.
of
You're not going
Tyreek
to get.
Hill?
You're not going to get a top 5 pick for Tyreek Hill. You
Nah.
might get a late round pick. Here's the teams that would trade for Tyreek Hill. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City and Baltimore. Do you think they're top 10?
Nah.
That's
You're right.
So you might get two. You might get You might get a first round pick, but you're not going to get. You're not going to get enough to move up. So what you do with those picks? Because Miami has a lot of needs, especially on that offensive line, D line, because Calais Campbell's going to get cut eventually or retire. We see what's going on with our offensive line. You're going to have to use those picks on impact players on the O line, on the D line, possibly a linebacker, maybe a thumper at running back, maybe a receiver if we do trade a Tyreek Hill, maybe a big body receiver, or move on from a Jalen Waddle who's breaking down. Good luck to him. There's a lot of issues with this team. And I'm not saying Tua is the solution. I'm not saying he's going to save the thing. I'm not saying that. I will say you could win with him, but I'm not saying he's that guy. Okay. Because Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl, and he's better than those guys. So you got to have a strong foundation, and this team does not have that. Doesn't have it.
Yeah. I mean, we had.
No, Kat,
like,
you know that.
I feel like we had one. We had Brian Floyd because that's what he tried to build. He tried to build a no-nonsense team.
But who was the GM? I get your point. I'm just gonna say.
No, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, I mean, once we go get rid of these two people, like GM and head coach, let's see what happens. But it starts with GM first because that dude that does not know how to draft. He does not know football. He just knows whatever he knows because he been here for this long and we haven't won a championship yet. And my eyes is championship or bust. That's just me.
Bobby.
I got you, brother. I got
Bobby,
you. Bobby,
in the great words of the late, great Owen Hart, you should play his music. Enough is enough, and it's time for a change. Remember
Scotty says, "Give me a couple guards." Yes. And everything.
That's what we
I'm
need.
cool with that. I am absolutely. Miami needs to shock the system.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all go, man.
All right, Lakers. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you for jumping
Anyone
on.
else who wants to join,
I'm gonna let y'all.
There's so much fighting in the comments.
Yeah, have a good night.
Good night, brother.
Man. Good luck to your Lakers.
All right, man. All right, bro. I'll be listening.
All right, my man. All right,
man.
All right. So
Price Cap hasn't jumped in yet, or Steve.
They're in the comment. First, no, I really appreciate everybody in the comments right now. Appreciate
DSG
Lakers
is loving this call.
And Rob and Will coming on. Yeah. Wasn't that old in the year 2000?
By the way, how does that say?
Oh, dude, the secondary for sure.
We've been drafting the secondary. That's what. But you know what he's going to go do. If he has a first round pick and Greer's there, he's going to go pick the best corner there.
We got a few more minutes, Chris. So I'll drop the link in there, and you can pop in if you want. Just to, you get 5-10 minutes. You want to pop in and give your 2 cents. Everyone's welcome to give this.
Has to go have dinner.
Yeah.
Did you have dinner at least tonight?
Dude, I've been out. I had some. No, I did eat something at the mall, but I didn't eat too much. But I I only had a donut this morning, and then I just went out and started doing
something.
something. So Cap's here. Cap's in as well. We'll get Cap in there. Let's see once he's available to us. Cap, you there, brother?
Hey.
What's up, my man? How you doing?
Oh man, hanging in there, man. Can you get?
Yeah. I knew his phone was like clogged up.
We got Chris coming in as well.
You hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you,
for
Cap.
it, Cap. Go for it, Cap.
Yeah, no, man. Where do I start, man? It's I mean, where do you guys want to start? Where do we go with this? Like,
Do you believe in Tua?
I mean,
Is Tua in the top 32 quarterbacks in the NFL? How about that?
man. I mean, look, man. I mean, the damage is done at this point. It's ink to paper. I mean, all I gotta say is if Daniel Jones can win a playoff game with the Giants, sign a contract, and get released by the Giants in less than 3 years in that time frame, I mean, it just goes to show you that we might be stuck with this. And this is, stuff that we already knew that was going to happen once we saw everybody get signed. Like I said, man, I knew this was going to happen to the point where nothing was going to change. I knew this a year in advance because this is their MO, man. They always have one step ahead when it comes to covering their asses. But when it comes to the fans, they like making sure that the public relations team covers their asses even 10 times more when it comes to damage control. I mean, I'm sorry, you just can't cover this up at this point, man. Like, it's at this point, you're just trying to cover up the cover up. And, I don't know, man. Like, you guys say we need change. I know we need change. Everybody knows we need change. I mean, and just it makes no sense at this point to complain about the same thing over and over and nothing happened. But then I get friends in the span of 2 weeks, numerous friends telling me, hey, man, we're getting called from the Dolphins reps to get our season tickets renewed. And I'm telling them call back. And I'm like, dude, yeah, you better say call back because right now they're working overtime trying to make money right now off of your pain. And I don't think that's right either, man. So, I mean, I get we have fans that, care more about the photo op than to do about the team. And that's a problem in itself. But I mean, man, if we all see the same thing going on that's wrong with this organization, I mean, why is it that we can't have one united voice front when it comes to this, as opposed to having, I just want to say, like, I don't know how to put this, man. I just wish the team would be in unison when it comes to knowing that we need to make change. I don't know if I'm coming in or not. The phone might be crapping out.
No, I hear you, bro. We all hear you. You're good. And we got Chris here in the comments.
I'm just trying to
Chris in here as well.
I'm just trying to be as politically correct as I can, because trust me, man, like, you guys know me enough to go from 0 to 100 right now. And I don't think at this point it's warranted, because it's on deaf ears right now, man. Nothing's going to happen. But man, I just feel for those fans that travel and have to see the same thing over and over, and then have to travel again and spend more money to see the same thing over and over, and then be like, yeah, guys, come on, let's go help the team out and support them with any cause they need. That crap, for me, man, I get it. I get it. But at some point in time, they need to feel the hurt, and they only feel the hurt in the pockets. Let's just be real at this point. Like, we're talking about coaches brand new. We're talking about GMs brand new. Nothing's going to happen. The only thing that needs to change is the mindset of the whole fan base together as one, and be like, damn, something needs to change, because obviously the quarterback, we're stuck with him. But if the quarterback's going to be here and we know the quarterback ain't going nowhere, they better know that the fans ain't going nowhere either. Because for us to have to go the next 3 weeks and just play the what if game with the playoff predictor and all that crap, I think we're beyond that point as well. But like I said, I don't want to make a long story even longer, but I at this point, man, if we really want change, man, I think we got the platform. I think you have the platform. I think we know a lot of content creators that have the platform. I think it's for everybody to stop getting on the divide and start getting on the, hey, maybe there's something that needs to change train, because something needs to change.
No doubt. No doubt. I don't think anybody's going to argue. And I think the only thing that we all agree there needs to be a change. I think the disagreement is how that change needs to look like. I don't think everybody could be a consensus, because there's some people, it has to be the quarterback. No, it has to be the coach. No, it has to be everybody. No, it has to be just a GM. That's the issue. And again, like you're saying, what does it matter? Until it happens, it happens. If not, we're just where we are. Very quick. Let's get Chris. Are you there, man? Let's see if Chris can talk. If not, that's okay. It says he's there.
I'm here. I'm listening. Thank you.
What's up, Chris, man? Thank you for joining us, brother.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've been hearing the conversation, man. Yeah, let's get your 2 cents. You heard what Cap said as well. What's your follow-up, brother?
Yeah, I tell you, my background's in the financial sector, and it's all about leveraging assets and weighing those assets. So if you look at the football team like a business, it's not just a lack of performance and their fact that they're way beyond, they're way below what their expectations are, but it's all the money. There's too much money out. Tua, Hill, and Waddle, highest paid trio in the history of the NFL. Is it all their fault? No, but there's still not enough productive given that money. And that money could be dispersed differently. They can't run the ball anymore. They're trying to do it off, smoke and mirrors and tricking people all the time. That's kind of run its course. They need to be able to line up and pound the ball a little bit more. They need to lower their mistakes. I'd settle for a tall, big body receiver who will catch a 50-50 ball, not necessarily a track star, because Hill and Waddle, they got to be wide open. You get in a contested area, that's not going to favor us. And then maybe some other possession receivers in there, and then see if we can't build a better defense and get back to the fundamentals a little bit. Is it all on McDaniel? He's running his design, but he's probably trying to make use of the talent he has there. But they might need to shuffle that up to change things. So I think they got their work ahead of them.
Let me ask you guys a question. Would you have mattered or cared if OBJ was even on this roster before you even signed him, or would you have preferred to go after a backup quarterback with that money?
Backup quarterback or offensive line? I would not have. I think we actually talked about that, bro. I thought
backup quarterback.
Yeah,
backup quarterback all day long. The Miami Dolphins, after you saw Tua today, did exactly what he said he was going to do. He was going to be selfish, and he was going to dive for the first down, whether he got hurt or not, and he got hit hard in the ribs. You need to go out and spend the most money of any football team, because no one can lie to themselves, even the most positive Dolphins fan, that Tua is not going to get injured next season.
Well,
if I'm them,
real quick,
the rest of the year.
Real quick, Evan, and I don't want to hijack the show here, but I need to say
you're here to
because
hijack it. I've been talking for 2 hours. You can hijack as much as you want.
No. Look, Chris is on here too, and I want to hear his takes too. I don't want to be that guy, but I like to dabble here and there on different platforms and hear different streams throughout different guys doing the stream of the show. So last couple of weeks has been Chris on the Finns Tailgate. So I check out Dudley Duro on today. I get on the chat board here and there, and I see the DeBose hit. So I say clear as day. Once I saw it, I said, DDW, that was Tua's fault that he led that guy into that pass in that lane.
Hospital ball all day.
And then all of a sudden, I hear DDW saying, bro, that is poor taste to say that. Oh, I'm like, what do you mean poor taste? It's not. It's what I just saw. So I get crucified for saying that. But after that play happens, I hear the Big O saying, Tua let him in. Tua got him killed. I hear Tobin saying, hey, Tua let him in. Tua got him killed. But if I say that, I'm wrong for saying that. I didn't say anything out of pocket, man. Like even the quarterback said it in his presser after the game. I didn't want to do that. I should have done something different to not have that happen.
Yeah, Tua took the blame for it. He said he admitted. He's like, that was on me. I did that, and it was tough for him to see. And with his situation, to see that go down.
I hear Dudley be like, "Hey, that's something you should say, but not out loud." I'm like, dude, what do you mean? Like, that's the problem. Like, anything this guy does, you're not allowed to say something that's critical of what he does wrong. This is where I get the confusion from when I say, like, it's not objective takes, it's biased takes at this point by certain content creators. And I love Dudley. I love him. You know, we go at it all the time ever since Stephen D. Like, I love him. He's a pioneer. But this is the type of example I say where, hey, man, you shouldn't be afraid to say something critical about the quarterback, especially at this point. I mean, I don't know what to say, man. Like, the ball shouldn't have been thrown that area. The ball shouldn't have been picked off 3 times. But if I say it, I'm wrong for saying something that I see as clear as day. That, for me, is disturbing in itself.
No, I think you just brought up a couple of names out there about people who said the exact same thing you said. Evan and I said the same thing. He did it to Devon Achen last week, and I mean, even Tua came out and said it, so it's not wrong.
He did it to Craycraft when he decided to play in the preseason. He threw a pass to Craycraft that was a touchdown pass, and Craycraft ended up in the IR right after that.
Elder, what's up, Elder? Bruce Jones in the house. Great to see you. Yeah, right. See, even Scotty.
Chris, what are your thoughts on Tua? You haven't had a chance to talk about Tua. What are your thoughts on Tua? Chris, floor's yours. What are your thoughts on Tua?
On Tua, you know, I don't know that. I don't concur that he's elite. I think that he's maybe building his way up there, I suppose, but I don't know that we should make a move there unless we got a clear upgrade, not just another lateral move. It has to be a clear upgrade. And I don't know how we accomplish that. I don't know that we have the trade bait for that unless we traded multiple players. Now, if someone got real cute and just packaged up a bunch of things, but does that get us a top 4 or 5 quarterback somewhere? In another system, could Tua excel better with different personnel and a different desire on him? We don't know that yet. Still, I'm uncomfortable with he doesn't see the safety sometimes. He throws it into a crowd. He's a risk to fumble every time he gets hit. He's a risk for a concussion every time. So he's got enough liabilities that I'm not so sure that the upside is outweighing the downside, or at least the downside concerns. So those are my thoughts.
Oh man,
I think he's hurt, man. I really think he's hurt. I think his ribs are really hurt.
Because we know you could hate on, and I'm not saying none of you guys. I'm not throwing any. As I say, people could hate on Tua and all that all they want, and believe he's not afraid of all that, which is fair and it's your opinion. But he usually could make those type of throws, right? I mean, even Evan and I talked after, it was like that Tyreek throw, not just the INT at the end, but also the one where it went to Tyreek's feet rolling to the left. It was like there's something going on, and yeah, I think maybe he did get hurt, and he's just not saying it. But again, you need to step up. You need to have those type of moments, and he didn't. And I understand the frustrations. I agree with Chris though in regards to Tua. You know, that's why to me it's like start with Chris Greer and move your way down. And you know, because right now there is what's up, Crazy Dolphin? Appreciate you watching, brother. You know, with regards to Tua, let those guys first. Let's handle those guys first, and then handle the situation at quarterback if it needs to be handled. If unless a new guy works it out, you know, then handle it.
But do you guys see the madness though, Bobby? Like, and I don't want to say it's madness, but it's getting to the point now where you've got multiple coaches, multiple defensive coaches. Now, if we get the DC out of here, it'll be DC's getting out of here. It's just like everybody's getting let go around him. It's just, I get it. I get it. He's under contract, but how is it that everybody else is getting let go left and right, but he still stands to make the roster every season without any questions asked or no competition?
Because of Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer. And I made this comment at the beginning of the beginning of the season. I told Bobby, and I got shot by a lot of people, that I personally think they don't bring in a quarterback out of fear of hurting Tua's feelings. And they're putting Tua's interest over the team's interests. I'm convinced of that. The same way someone made a comment earlier, I think it was Rifle said it. I said it to Bobby all the time. I think Chris Greer is here until the Brian Flores lawsuit is settled. He does not want, but Stephen Ross does not want to fire a minority executive. I'm convinced. Like there's something. They are
There's
so
something.
they are
There's
so
something.
yeah. They're more worried about their reputations and people's feelings than winning football games. Because look, Patrick Mahomes got injured today. I asked Bobby, like, 2 weeks ago, do you know who Patrick Mahomes' backup is? And he goes, no. I go, well, the guy has been an MVP candidate and he's gone to a Super Bowl. He didn't win it. He was the backup that day because Nick Foles took him over in the playoffs when he got injured. But it's Carson Wentz. And Carson Wentz is somebody who can actually go out with Pacheco and Kelsey and Hopkins and Worthy and against the Texans next week. And I will put my money on it now that if he plays quarterback next week against the Texans at home, he'll win that football game because he has a head coach and has a scheme and a defense that all he has to do is be a game manager, be a Chad Pennington-like, and they'll win the football game. Tua tried to win it today, and he's not capable of winning it on his own. He's not.
I don't get it, man. You have
exactly Rifleman. I gave you kudos, Rifleman. I gave you credit. I said Rifleman. I said it. I gave you credit.
Regardless of what anybody says about Tannehill, he didn't sign anywhere because he wanted a starting role. But you have Diana Rossini telling you he's in the Bahamas flying planes, killing time. Like, he wouldn't mind coming home for the veteran cheap, minimum. Like, she was telling you, she was giving you tidbits and throwing you bits right there that the guy is not doing anything, but you don't want to sign him because you don't want to affect the quarterback psyche even further with all the crap that's going on with Ross going behind his back trying to get other quarterbacks. So, I mean, you have options left and right everywhere. Nobody wants to do it because they don't want to offend him either. And it's like, damn if we do, damn if we don't. Now we're in a scenario now where what are we going to do? What the hell are we going to do?
You can't fire. You can find a trade partner one day, maybe next year. He'll be here next year. So maybe in 2 years, you could do something. All you could do, and what Bobby's been saying, and Brett's been saying, and I've been saying, and everyone's been saying, there's been one consistency. I said it before. We're 194 and 207 with a minus 480 differential. We've given up 480 more points, and that's in the Chris Greer era with one playoff win. To Mike McDaniel, after this third season, will probably have an equal to worse record than Brian Flores did in the first 3 years of the rebuild. If that's those two, and he's 3-17 against winning teams, Mike McDaniel. If those are not fireable,
who won the Steelers game? Evan. Who won the Steelers game today?
The Eagles.
The Steelers game. Who won that game?
They crushed them. The Eagles crushed them. Why? They have Saquon Barkley. Wouldn't we be nice to have a Saquon? Can you imagine what I told this to Bobby? We would not be 6-8. We'd probably be 9-5 or 8-6 if Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley was your running back.
No, I got crucified, bro, for saying that the running back position will help us win if we get somebody in the offseason too. I was told the running back position is dead. The running back position doesn't exist anymore. The MVP is about to be a running back, bro.
Yep. And by the way, let me just credit Rifleman. I'm going to say this again till I'm blue in the face because Bobby and I have said this, I think, every week about Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry had 1,600 yards rushing with the worst offensive line in football. The worst offensive line in football. He had 1,600 yards, the number one rusher in the NFL 2-3 years ago, with the worst offensive line in football. The worst, even worse than the Dolphins. And he was the best running back. Power backs do not need great offensive lines. They don't.
There you go. Well, guys, we're about 2.5 hours in. Fitzstan's been killing it.
Yeah, man. Let me get going, man. Thanks, guys, for letting me on, man. We'll catch up throughout the week, man.
Absolutely. Cap, Christopher, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for dropping in.
Thanks, guys.
Peace out, guys.
Man, so there it have it. Look, I see all the comments.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you having me.
Anytime you want to join.
Thank you, my man.
Keep watching.
I see all the comments and the back and forth. I do know, I think everybody is disappointed with this season, the way it's gone and the way this game ended up going. We all have different opinions on how the I think we all agree change has to happen in some form or another. Obviously, we're not all on the same page in regards of how that change should be. Hopefully, sadly we have to rely on another guy, on one person to decide if he wants to make that type of change, and that's a tough drink to ask for. So we'll just have to wait and see. The season continues. The season, is not over because they still have games to play. But let's be real. The title of today's show was Tua throws away the season with 3 INTs, and that's what it felt like every time I saw. And that final play, that final interception, just was the nail in the coffin. And yes, we could play with the playoff machine, and we could make it in our favor still. But realistically,
Cut Campbell tomorrow.
It is what it is. So, anywho, I don't want to take any play rookies. Yeah, I'm with you, Scotty. I'm with you. No, I'm not playing. Don't want to play to lose. I want to see some. But I'm with you also as well. Play the rookies. Give them their opportunities to play. What?
I said Tua. I don't want him to get injured. Play Huntley. And wait, would you? I think they're so convinced, Bobby, that they still might make it with 9 wins. If I'm them, why would you do that to Calais Campbell? Cut him tomorrow.
Oh, Campbell for sure. I think they need this. Cut him.
They won't do it. They won't do it. They think they still have a chance.
Yeah. Well, again,
You're telling me there's a chance.
There's a chance. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for everyone who's participated in the comments, who's hopped on the show. Thanks for Neil Cordero for coming back on and filling in for me with Finstanza. Evan, thank you for sticking through and starting it. I apologize for my delay, but guys, we appreciate you. Don't forget, got great content throughout the week. We have Real Talk Fitz Talk on.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
Tuesday night. We got the Caneswear podcast on Tuesday night as well. Wednesday, East 10th Street Boys at 9:30 Eastern time with me and Alex. Thursday, you got I believe overtime.
We'll do overtime this week.
Yeah. Maybe on myself. I may be with Alex on Thursday night on 305 Sports. He reached out, but waiting on Alex.
Cody Rhodes is injured, by the way. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I saw that. I did see that. But yeah, Saturday, no holds barred. We'll talk about it Saturday night. And then Sunday, pregame, postgame again. Win, lose, or draw. We're always here. Guys, we appreciate you all for tuning in and participating, and like, subscribe, and most importantly, Dolphin fans, I know it's hard, but fins up.
New Era Golf.